and then do the Yeti. There we go. Okay, now you guys can hear me. Okay, now we're live for real. All right, let's go to... Yep, I can hear myself. Okay, great. Okay. All right. Is this the new live one that everybody's watching? Yeah, this is it, baby. I can hear myself. Okay, here we go. Popping out that chat. Got it right over here. Folks, we are back and we are live. All right. To my homies watching in the Zoom, I'm out. I'm out. Here we go. Peace. Peace out. Wait, why didn't that work? Peace on the Zoom. Yeah, end meeting. There we go. Boop, boop. Okay, what happened? What happened is it's technical difficulties, baby. Come on. That's what else could it possibly be? Hello everybody watching right now. This is the new Rockstars DC FanDome Day 2 live event. I'm live. My name is Hector Navarro. New Rockstars was nice enough to ask me to do this thing, and I was stoked because I'm a massive DC fan. And this is weekend number 2 of their incredible once-in-a-lifetime fan interactive experience event. DC FanDome is happening right now. This stream is sponsored by Warner Brothers, so huge thanks to them. This is so cool. This is so exciting. In case people don't know, Stephen Baker says, "Hi Hector, how you doing? I love you, my friend." I love you too, Stephen Baker. In case people don't know, the DC FanDome second weekend, which is this weekend, is a little bit different than the first weekend, which is all of those streamed, amazing panels and fan Q&As and everything that was happening around the world. This weekend is completely user activated. You can go in and choose what panel you want to watch yourself. They've got over 100 hours of content. So what you're watching for the next 3 or so hours is me going through a curated list of panels that we're going to check out. I'm going to be watching them. I'm going to be reacting to them. I'm going to be talking about them. DC is really good, and so is this channel. Thank you, Raghav. I agree. Thank you, Raghav. I'm in front of also my DC comics, so if at any point I need to pull them out, I can. And in case you missed it, we did the stream. There was some technical difficulties, but I was in the middle of watching a panel. We're going to go back and revisit that later, but that was the Watchmen Vigilante Hooded Justice panel that was a behind-the-scenes featurette for the Watchmen HBO Blu-ray set that came out, and it was awesome. And I wanted to say, I wish I could have grabbed a comic book near my head, but I'm actually letting a buddy of mine borrow it. And if you don't believe me, here's the proof. When I let my friends borrow stuff, I write them on little cards. DC: The New Frontier. Augustine, my friend Augustine, is borrowing it. If you guys know me on YouTube, you know my buddy Augustine. But that is a legit comic book. There's my little Dewey Decimal System there from my library. That comic also had a similar subplot that reminded me of the amazing storyline that they did with Hooded Justice in HBO's Watchmen. So if you haven't read DC: The New Frontier, it is a masterpiece comic book. It is written and drawn by Darwin Cook, who is no longer with us. He passed away a couple years ago, but he's one of the all-time great comic creators, comic writers, comic artists. He is phenomenal. So if you have, what's your favorite DC comic? Hector asks Forever Plush. Honestly, might be DC: The New Frontier. Or, you know what? Another one that it might be is actually probably this one. I kind of grew up on this one, Kingdom Come, and it kind of broke my brain when I read it as a kid, and I revisit it a lot, and I think it's amazing. I think it's wonderful. I've had a chance to talk to Mark Waid about it, the writer, and I got to talk to him, and I was like asking him questions about it, and I'm like, is this what ends up happening to all the characters? Be real with me, Mark. He's like, no, it's not, Hector. It's a cautionary tale. It should not be considered the legitimate future of the DC Comics universe and of the DC characters. And that kind of put my mind at ease. I was like, okay, all right, great. So I want to drink some Voss. Me too. Erik is fantastic. I hope he's having a great Saturday. But these new Rockstars dummies, they recruited me to talk to you guys for 3 hours. So I'm doing that. Oh my goodness. Danny M says, "Hi Hector, I am watching the Dwayne McDuffie panel currently." That is amazing, man. That's awesome. I cannot wait to see that. I also... Full disclosure, I hosted 2 panels myself, and I can talk to you guys about those right now, which is pretty cool. I can pull those up. I can talk about what I got to host for these panels, and that they're the fact that they're available to everybody today for the next 24 hours is pretty awesome. But I hosted a panel on the new upcoming direct-to-video DC animated movie I should say direct to digital also, because that's the new way that these movies come out. But it's this animated film called Batman: Death in the Family, and it is based on the Death in the Family story arc of the '80s, the groundbreaking interactive comic book storyline that decided the fate of Robin, Jason Todd. And I've seen the movie, and it is incredible. And I have I have become familiar with the interactive aspect of it, and it is incredible. So I got to talk to some of the cast. I got to talk to John DiMaggio, who's one of my favorites. He plays the Joker. And this is spinning out of the events of Batman Under the Red Hood, which is another one of my favorite animated films of, I think it came out 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. I can't believe it's been a decade now, but that movie is so good. And if you haven't seen it yet, John DiMaggio, who's normally the voice of Bender the robot, Bender Bending Rodriguez from Futurama, as well as Jake the dog, as well as 1,000 other cartoon characters. His Joker, and I'm the guy that, and everybody agrees, Mark Hamill is the ultimate Joker of all time. Mark Hamill's Joker is S tier. It's just super good, super quality. But John DiMaggio brings this incredible new angle to it, this menacing, like, scary, delicious. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Yes, Bender, yes. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen that. And then the other panel that I hosted, it is a DC graphic novel masterclass with Klaus Janson and Isaac Goodhart. And one of these artists is an incredible living legend in the comic book industry, and that's Klaus. And Isaac Goodhart is an up-and-coming, soon-to-be living legend. His stuff is incredible. And they are friends, they know each other, and I got to moderate a discussion with both of them, talking about how they got into the industry, talking about their techniques, talking about their sort of like fears and failures and their successes and triumphs, and I could listen to comic book artists talk about their craft all dang day. So that was like an amazing panel to get to be a part of. I mean, the stuff that Klaus has worked on and the stuff that Isaac's working on, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome. So, yeah. So I'm just getting I'm waiting till, oh, sweet. Okay, great. Just got the go-ahead. We're going to jump in, baby. Here we go. Listen to Hyper RPG. Yeah, thank you, Rima. Here we go. I hope Black Adam is good. Me too. Here we go. Jump in to the beginning of our 3-hour stream. With the first panel, I'm going to head over to the Watchverse. Let me get this set up. Okay, fantastic. Let me get the panel set up first. Hang on. Let me get it. The first one we're going to watch is one that I'm very excited about. It is a Superman and Lois panel. I am stoked about this show. Here we go, baby. Let me line this sucker up, and then we can start the stream. Here we go. Okay, I hope that this is going to work. All right, and let me do this, and hopefully this won't be too awkward, and boom. Okay, and we're good. All right, let me minimize that. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're okay. This is incredibly exciting. I got the YouTube chat right here, everybody. So throughout the day, if you have any questions about anything, ask them. If there's any comments, anything that you want to throw in there, go ahead. And I wish I could tell you all that stuff, Task Force, but I have no idea. But we're now going to watch the Superman and Lois panel. It's a bird, it's a plane. It's Superman and Lois. So here we go. Click. Yes. DC FanDome, a global experience. Thanks to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this stream. Superman and Lois.
Hello, everyone out there at FanDome. This is Jim Lee. I am the publisher and chief creative officer at DC. And I'm super excited to be hosting this panel about an upcoming new show called Superman and Lois.
Yes, me too.
Today with me, I have Todd Helbing, who is the writer, numero uno badass on the production. Hey, Todd, good to see you again.
Hello, hey, Jim. Good to see you.
And we have Clark and Lois. Well, we have Superman and Lois, Tyler Hoechlin, and Elizabeth Tulloch. Welcome.
Thanks.
This is
I'm
great.
Excited.
I love to see Jim Lee moderating these
so let's
panels.
just jump
This
into
is
it. We've
fantastic.
got a lot of questions. I have my own personal questions as a huge fan of the show.
Hey, if you're watching this right now, make sure that you're hydrated.
Are going to ask some
grab some
questions.
drinks
You guys actually
and
might
grab
be
some
asking each other
snackies.
some questions
Make sure
here
you're
at
good
the
to go.
end, too. So everyone will get a participation medal at the end. So anyway, so Superman was obviously the first superhero, and he's had some amazing.
I'm familiar with
TV
that. I've
shows,
seen that.
Over the years.
I've seen
TV
that.
shows over the years. As a kid, I watched the George Reeves black and white Superman one where he kind of jumped out a window onto a mattress on the other side.
That's available on DC Universe, by the way. It's a great show.
Since then.
No, wait,
Todd,
I'm thinking
talk
of
a little bit about how this show is going to be different from
Yes, it
previous
is on there.
Incarnations.
That went from black and white to color.
What you're doing differently that hasn't been done before.
He gets started on I Love Lucy.
Just kind of, tease it out a little bit. I know you can't share too much right now.
The main way that we're going to make this a little different is that Clark and Lois are married in this version. And they're not only married, they have 2 teenage boys. Yes,
these guys look way too young to have teenage kids.
That is true, Jim. That's
true. We lean into that because Clark Kent does not really age that much.
You gotta look close, but the grays are coming in. They're there. Don't worry, they're there.
Yo, I like Tyler Hoechlin's spooky background. He's just got some skeleton skulls back there. That's great.
I think as a father, who happens to have 2 boys, that felt like a really great way to bring in some personal experience and just to tell really a story that is as grounded as you can possibly be.
I don't think I've seen every Tyler Hoechlin episode of like Supergirl and the
Clark and Lois
CW shows, but from what I've seen, Superman, I love him as Superman. And I love Bitsy Tulloch as
world,
as
but really
Lois
as
also.
Parents, like what is that like when you have jobs like that, which can really a lot of people can relate to nowadays. To a lot of families that have 2 working parents.
Yeah.
And all the complexities and difficulties that come with having jobs like that.
Welcome, Gabriella Torres.
And then with 2 boys, how, as parents, speaking from experience, my boys are wildly different. And so we wanted to present 2 kids that had completely different skill sets. And how do you deal with that as parents?
Yeah, because they're going to have powers.
You feel comfortable revealing this just yet, right? But there's a reason in which Clark and Lois moved back to Smallville. That's a big piece of.
Yeah, I'm not going to give the reason yet, but the story of Superman has taken place in Metropolis for very long. Obviously, there was a Smallville series, but I came from a small town in the Midwest, and
moving back
the
to
town
Smallville
that I grew up in
Superman
had a business leave. That sort of affected everybody in the town, and the town started to slowly dry up.
Wow.
And it felt very current with recent years after 2008. So we wanted to tell a story where you have the parents, after this tragic event happens, move back to Smallville and really find that it's easier to raise kids maybe in a place where life isn't so hectic as it is in Metropolis.
Maybe.
Let's talk a little. I have a really nerdy question, right? So at the end of the crisis on Infinite Earths, they basically brought Superman and Lois into Earth Prime with all the other characters. What role is that going to play in your future?
Great question, Jim. Jim,
future storytelling.
Asking the right
well,
questions.
For all the fans that watched, at the end of the beginning of the last crossover, Clark and Lois had a little infant boy named Jonathan, and the worlds merged and everything gets rewritten, and the end of the crossover is Lois calling Clark saying that he has to get home because there's a problem with the boys. The boys. So we took Crisis as
I hope we get a bearded Superman in this
to really age up and change things for them as parents. Age up the boys, or create 2 boys, fraternal twins, and make them teenagers when things really get complicated for parents. So I think just Crisis in general really gave us an opportunity to start with a blank slate and tell the story in a way that we couldn't have otherwise.
That's what's so crazy about Crisis,
how do you
man.
guys
It really
feel before you're Superman, you're the
everything.
ultimate hero, right? Lois Lane, you're the ultimate, most famous journalist in all the world, right?
Man.
And now you're parents to these kids, the judging that will be going on in terms of your parenting styles, it's a whole different dimension, right? Not only do you have to be amazing superheroes, amazing journalists that have to uphold their ethics and fight for truth. On top of it, you now have 2 teenage boys that are running amok in a small town.
Look at that. It changed the shows.
Is there stuff that you can draw upon to kind of help tell this story?
I hope we get to see like a black suit Superman in this show.
I mean,
that would be dope.
I am a mom. I have a 17-month-old, and I feel like she's already judging me on a daily basis. So I'm just kind of used to it. She's a big fan of my husband right now in particular. She's definitely a daddy's girl. But I do think that it's one of the things, especially about Lois, is that she doesn't really compromise her sense of self or her goals. And so I think one thing that I think she butts up against, and obviously Superman does too, is, you know, being really dedicated to our careers.
Here's another great thing about
for good, and
quarantine
we believe in
and
what we're doing. And
having to have all
Lois
these
wants
panels
to change
be
the world
from people's homes.
with words.
Get to see like
and
Bitsy
Superman
Tulloch's
does it with
kitchen.
his
She's
power,
got a
but
really nice
also,
kitchen.
You know, how much is that alienating and our kids? And how good can we really be?
Gotta love that
at
purple
your
sweater.
job
I feel like
if
she
you
wears
have
that
two
in this.
teenage boys who
I
are
think.
hormonal and who each have very disparate needs. So I think that's part of what, for me anyway, was really compelling and was so exciting when I found out
that's
that
her
it was
color.
Be
It's Lois
older
Lane's
kids,
color is purple.
like teenagers, because it is so complicated, and they are going to be going through a lot.
Man, look,
and, you know, I've read 2 scripts now, and I find that the storyline with
look
the
at that purple
sons
sweater.
really, really compelling.
They definitely get harder as they get older.
I remember Bitsy Tulloch was asking
the direct experience
on Twitter a couple months ago, like,
I
hey,
have
do you have
6
any
nieces and
iconic
nephews now.
Lois looks that
My
you
older
love?
brother and sister
So I follow her on
have
Twitter,
gone to
and
take
people
care
were
of
like,
mom
yeah,
and dad.
this look, this look, this look. So she was
I've been
going
at
to take
least
all of
kind
that to
seeing
the
it from the
costume
uncle
designers
lens,
of Superman and
watching
Lois,
them
which
grow
is
up. But
awesome.
just the idea, I think noticing my dad.
It's like all she wears is purple in this. It's great.
He was gone at work. He's a doctor. Works at the emergency room. He had a private practice, and so balancing that with having 4 kids at home, see him do that, and being older now, and
this is a great book. I haven't read this in a while, but
is taken up by working towards a career, by providing and just doing those things, even just for myself. It's a perspective shift for me to look back at how he was able to do that. So those are things that I'll definitely be drawing on, just to see, you know, how you're able to wear both hats in that situation, to be a good parent and to be a working parent. It's a tricky situation. So
this will be in the Arrowverse. Yes, it will. Absolutely.
So Tyler, do you feel that extra level of pressure? I would imagine just playing Superman in general, you have
a lot of pressure
for
both of those roles,
all
man.
these like virtuous
Clark and Lois
aspects, and I'm sure people come up to you all the time and call you Superman. I assume, like, when you get that call, like, does your life change? Well, I guess after the first episode airs, it changes, right? I mean, can you talk a little bit about that kind of change in your career and life?
Hi, everybody.
I think it's just there's a heightened awareness. I think, you know, when we were on the set, there was one moment that always stands out. We were on a set, and I've been on sets before where there's fans around and they want to meet the actors or something, but to be there and to be in the Superman suit and to have a parent bring their 5 and 6-year-olds up to the thing to say, hey, can they meet Superman? That's a thing where you do realize that
I would be crying constantly
at that point,
if that were me.
The parent might know who you are as the actor, but to the kids,
you're Superman.
You're just Superman. You're wearing the suit, and that's all they know. So I think
Favorite
that's
superhero?
the thing that changes the most, is just that awareness.
Tough. Superman's up there.
When you're around kids,
Superman's
and I
up
think
there.
that's what's so great about this character.
Also, I love
about
Booster Gold.
Is that what he stands for? Really just kind of grabs onto such an impressionable
Levi Anderson
audience.
says Tyler was cool in the Teen Wolf series. Definitely one of the better actors. I love Tyler Hoechlin. I think he's
it's something
fantastic.
that does make me really excited about getting to play
And Paula
this
Jones says, I love that Superman suit. It's a good suit.
It's a good fans of DC Comics or Superman and Lois before you guys got these assignments. I assume you've been to Comic-Con now. As you were talking about how your heart starts pumping before they call your name and you go out in that panel. Can you share some thoughts about Comic-Con or some stories about Comic-Con and sort of interacting with the passionate fan base that are here watching us, online?
I remember the first time we did Comic-Con for Grimm, because Grimm premiered in the fall of 2011. They showed the whole pilot, and because it hadn't aired yet, people kind of didn't know who we were for the most part. So that was my favorite year, because we were able to kind of walk around and interact with people. I always enjoyed it.
You don't even need to play a superhero
but I remember
to be an actor and go to Comic-Con these days.
We went when we were actually like able to kind of get into it with people.
Yeah, it's just a different experience. I think when you meet somebody who's a fan of a different show, it's a completely different experience than when someone comes up that's a fan of Superman. And I think a lot of that has to do with the legacy of it as well. You know, it goes back so far.
Overpowering role, I'm sure.
It's this long-standing tradition of this character and what he means.
Man, this dude's cheekbones are out of control.
It might mean one thing to the 5-year-old you're meeting, but to their dad or to their mom,
I feel like Jim
also knew the character
could draw this guy,
and is still a fan. It's such a wide range of impressions that have been made over the decades that it's just it's
very
a
great question.
Kind of
very great question. Hal
Superman
Haney
feels
says Tyler or
particularly
Henry
conflicted because
Cavill.
obviously he has the
And I feel like they're
responsibilities to his
completely
family,
different
the woman he loves, the
versions
children
of
he's
the
trying
same
to raise,
character, which
but
is
he's also,
nuts, which is wild. You know, it's the
he's
DC
owned-
multiverse idea. Yeah.
He belongs to the world, right? He's the world's champion, and that
Like
demand and
Tyler
need for
Hoechlin's
that
Superman
type
is
of
way
character in the
more,
world
I think,
takes him away from
connected.
his
He's got
family, right? So
Supergirl.
he's
He's
gotta
got
be
Lois.
extremely
He's got
conflicted
two
in
kids now.
his
You know, it's very
personal
different than
responsibilities to his
the
family,
movie
and then
Superman,
his
who
other
we've seen
responsibility
not
to really
be
kind
able to
of
get to those
help
points in his
lead the
life
world
yet.
to a better
You know,
place,
so
right?
yeah.
I feel like there's an interesting thing going on, and it's not like it's a
Neston.
brand new
Hi.
situation, but just over the years, it's been this thing where what we do in our professional
cheekbones,
lives, and our
Hector.
work
Oh, thank
lives
you.
does require so much more. And I think that that's something about Superman, is that there is so much needed of him. It's when do you turn it off? When is it okay to turn it off? When is
That's the
enough
conflict of
enough, because
Superman.
you
That's
do
the
have other
conflict of
things in your
Superman.
life that
It's
might
not
be
who can
in a different
overpower
way.
him.
It's
He's
not
too
as macro,
powerful.
it might be more micro. Doesn't make it any less important. These are the people that count on you for something that only you can fulfill within that structure of a family. So it's it's one of the things I'm most excited about diving into in this show is as a
miss
parent,
playing
how do
HeroClix,
you
man. Miss
balance
playing
that
HeroClix with
need
my
of
friends.
something that you spent your young adult years and the rest of your adult life before you were a parent putting all your effort into. How do you know how and when to scale that
Hey,
back,
whether it's the
to put
Arrowverse
that
or the
time into
CW verse, you
family?
call it
And
whatever
so
you want.
it's-
You call it
it's,
whatever you want.
it's a
We
unique
know what you're
challenge
talking
that
about.
I'm sure everybody faces going through that. So I'm excited at least to tap
Thank you
into
so
that.
much.
So on
Valen,
top
thank you.
of this challenge between, this personal challenge between Clark and Lois and their family, Todd, can you talk a little bit about, as they go to
Yes, it is, Paula.
Smallville, kind of the other elements of the other members of the supporting cast of Superman that you kind of want to activate and bring into the fold? We were talking the other day about how love triangles are really important in the Superman mythology.
We're going to get a love triangle? No.
Starting with the first,
No.
which is Superman, Lois, and Clark, right before Lois figured out his secret identity.
Yeah, well, I think it's fun to when they go back that Lana Lang is there.
Oh no, we're getting Lana Lang.
First love.
Oh no.
And I think it's an interesting dynamic as an adult, how you deal with that relationship.
With a childhood love or your first love.
It can't be Superman. We don't want Clark Kent ever having an affair on Lois. There's not that situation. That's never going to happen.
What the heck?
He's as
But
good as
she
they
shouldn't
get.
know that.
Come on, Todd.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah. It's also like we don't want like Lois and Lana brawling in the but that dynamic as an
I really
adult
like the
is really
dynamic of
interesting to us,
Lois and Lana Lang.
Those
They have
feelings
a very
are
interesting
impossible
relationship,
to
a great
ignore,
friendship.
and I think
It's
that's
great.
a real thing for some people.
I'm not commenting,
especially when
but
kids are
but
involved.
no, I'm
And then
watching
to see
Cheekbones.
her husband and her kids and that dynamic.
I hope we
There's a
get.
couple
I wonder
people
if
a
Pete
couple
Ross
characters
is
that
still
we invented.
living in Smallville.
Kyle Cushing, her husband, and Sarah
Ooh.
Cushing, who gets sort of wrapped up with the boys, and then they have their own love triangle.
Of course, Lana Lang's kid.
and
Of
then
course,
a
that's
character
what's going to happen.
That I think is really interesting is General Lane, Lois's father,
Ooh.
and his relationship with the two of them. He sees Superman as he's a very military guy.
Yeah.
So he
I
sort
love
of looks
General Lane
at Superman like
and
a
that
soldier.
dynamic. Yeah.
And so, and his relationship with Lois is a little fraught because of the way that he took his job
Because she's
when
a
he was
journalist
versus the way that Clark
and he works in the military.
Doing
There's
his job.
probably
So
a
all
little bit of
that
conflict there.
messiness is really fun.
It's not just about the ultimate superhero and Lois Lane leading a family and those kind of challenges and responsibilities. There's true superhero action as well. It's more than just a show about this new unusual nuclear family stuck in a small town and them having to figure out those issues. It is at its heart a show about superheroes and supervillains too.
Yeah, so I think, look, there's a lot of set pieces, there's a lot of heroics, but to us, what's just as interesting is when Superman goes out and saves the day, or he's fighting a villain, or he's stopping a nuclear reactor from exploding. Lois is out there hunting a different sort of villain and using her superpowers to be just as effective. And,
Great
and
questions.
you see them as a team, kind of this unstoppable force.
Stephen Baker, what a great reference. Annette O'Toole was amazing as Lana Lang in Superman 3 and as Martha Kent in Smallville.
They draw a lot, which is awesome. But I heard that they struggle a little with like drawing Superman's shield, right?
Yeah. Yes. They're both very artistic.
I should have grabbed
but
a pen and some paper.
That's like the thorn in their side.
right, so I'm going to just share with you a little secret that another artist told me back in the day. An artist named John Byrne, who's like one of my favorite
John Byrne,
comic book creators. Very long run on Superman. But he basically looked at it as a diamond, obviously the symbol. With
Jim Lee's going to teach us how to draw, y'all. Pay attention.
Swimming in opposite directions.
Two fish swimming in
opposite directions. So you're drawing the negative space rather than the S. If you try to draw the S, it's really challenging. But if you just draw the two fish, the S miraculously appears. So I'm going to see if I can do that here.
Awesome. So wait, we're gonna do it, right? Are we all doing it?
You guys
awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
got my kids.
I should have grabbed.
Fantastic.
Hang on, maybe I can. Oh man, I see a pen and I see some paper right there. I should grab some. Hang on.
Come through for me here.
It's a live stream. It's a live stream. I'm still here. Let me see if I can grab.
Oh, fantastic! All right, I got my board here. All right, so
what is this? This is
actually the hardest part now.
Okay, that's a pen.
Draw the diamond, right?
Okay.
So.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, relax, everybody. Relax. I'm here. I'm here. Okay, here we go. Draw the diamond first. Okay, Jim, hang on.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And now here's the part.
Okay, I got the diamond.
Fish, and then you draw the other fish.
That's not how I draw the Superman S. There's a fish, and then you draw the other fish.
Okay, so. And then right above that,
do this.
You draw like a little diamond.
And then you do that. I needed it to be on the ground.
And another little diamond underneath that bottom.
I love drawing Superman's ass. Okay, hang on.
Is that it? Is that the thing?
So this is the starting point. Obviously, it's not quite the S symbol, but what it gets you to is a point where you go, okay, now.
I also realized I missed the.
Right, and so if I'm doing this in pencil,
this is a very like Christopher Reeve kind of a squishy. It's kind of a squishy Superman, but I realized that I missed the. There's a bunch of different variations on the Superman S on the bottom of the S, and what it looks like currently right now. Hang on, I don't want to mess up the. Okay, hang on. Let me move my drink. Let me move this.
Here.
What it looks like currently, I don't know if you guys can even see this on the. I may need a marker. Is that
looked pretty close? Oh, and then another little line goes up here.
There's like a I'll just draw the whole thing. I can't believe I am drawing
okay, hang on.
next to Jim Lee
so curious
on the
to
internet.
See what you guys have drawn.
So this is kind of what it looks like now. That's like it's kind of a sharp. I don't know if they've gone back on that yet, but I missed that bulbousy. Can you see it? Can you guys see it? I don't know if you guys can see it. I missed the bulbousy like. This is what I.
That's not great.
That's not great, Jim. No,
that's fantastic.
That's pretty good.
I think I was off to like a real hot start, and then the bottom fish got me.
Here's the other thing.
Awesome.
Oh, good.
I know we don't have the rights to this, but every time
I stole my daughter's crayons.
Every time I draw Superman's S or Superman in general, I start to hum the John Williams. That's what I like.
I don't know what happened.
That little bulbousy. Boop.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's pretty good.
That's great, man.
All of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all you get. That's all you get.
I see now.
That's all you get. Legal for legal purposes.
You didn't see the fish before?
No, I saw the fish before. I see this thing on the side.
I saw the fish.
I
saw the fish.
Proportions are really off.
There you go. Ta-da.
Tyler, your bottom is like a little guppy.
But honestly, real talk, we all know the best Superman symbol ever is this one.
It's hard not to see the fish instead of the S. Anyway, but hopefully kids and fans
blow
all around the world
y'all's
sit down
minds.
put this all together, and hopefully they can share some of this on social.
Who could tell me?
So Todd, we have some fan
where
questions.
this Superman
S
is
story
from.
stood out the most to you that made you want to play?
Whoever gets it right
was there a seminal moment where you were first introduced to the Superman mythology?
Come on, baby. That's the best one, baby. That's the best one, baby.
You know,
at the bottom,
funny.
I mean. Hector, you should be an
there's
artist. Thank you so much. Marlon Crawford, thank you.
I've never seen the TV shows. I've seen.
What's that from? First one to say it in the chat. Come on. What's that from?
I worked with Erica during
the Superman S is from what?
I love her, but I haven't.
The Superman S is from what?
Nope. I've seen the Christopher Reeve films with Margot Kidder, and I
That's
love
not the
them
one
so
I drew.
much. And
Although
I think
you
one
may be
of the
right.
things that I always
Oscar Limon got it. Oscar Lyman. Superman, Batman Beyond. That's right.
She
That's right.
didn't
That's right.
know
Although, to be fair,
who he was, but like on some level, did she? There was something.
That's also, yeah,
about
that's
the way
pretty
I felt
close.
like
That's pretty
Margaret
close.
Kidder played it, or maybe I'm projecting.
Oh boy.
Where it feels like, and part of the reason they're such a good couple.
Oh,
and they
if you guys
love
know
each
how to
other
draw
so
this
much, is that
Superman
she
S,
just
it's the
kind of
hardest
gets
one.
him. And
it's the hardest one to draw.
You know, I
Oh
just
my
remember
goodness.
moments where she was kind of looking at him quizzically,
Okay.
and I'm like, wait, does she know, or does she just sort of understand
The original
something
comics.
about
Close.
him and who he is?
Oh
and,
boy, that's fun.
and
I love
what
drawing
he
Superman's
represents,
S.
and like, you know,
Oh, you
going
know
back
what?
to what I was saying
one's also
earlier
pretty
on, I
slick.
think part of the reason Lois is
Look
the
at this
perfect woman for Clark is that
That
she
Dan Jurgens art.
gets
Look
why
at that.
Superman is so important for the world.
Look at that.
And she
Communist
is
Superman,
happy
yeah.
to
Not hard
make
to draw in
the
Russia, maybe not.
sacrifice, as far
That's
as
pretty slick too. I like that one.
Family time.
I like that one.
As a result.
Yeah, the Batman
For
Beyond
me,
one is a
I'd
bit
say
skinny.
kind
You're
of
right.
The same thing. It wasn't a particular story. Really, for me, what it was when I went and met with Greg originally to do the couple episodes of Supergirl in the first place.
Yep.
You know, I sat and watched the first season of Supergirl, and I think it hit me at the right time in life. And I think there was an environment at the time that felt like we needed a little bit of hope. We needed a little bit of optimism.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had also just kind of been coming out of a cynical phase of life. I went through those years and tried seeing the world through that lens.
I love that.
Didn't enjoy it very much. So for me, it was just kind of seeing that show and seeing that.
I love to hear
I
about
felt as if
the
it was a
impact
chance for me to jump into something
that
hopeful,
playing these types of characters
and
has on
optimistic.
these actors as people.
think
I love
what
that
also
stuff.
goes along with
I think that is
the
the
reality
best.
of the situation of where we are today is that you do need hope that we will get to the other side of it and that we will find a way through it. So
yeah,
kind of credit that to that. First
Black
season of
is always
Supergirl.
beautiful.
Guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
LaCroix.
Couple fan questions.
Not brought to you by LaCroix.
Start first with who
Okay.
are the Superman and Lois in your own lives? And how do your Superman and Lois influence your portrayal of your respected characters in this universe?
That's a great question.
I would say
Michael,
just,
United States.
For what influences me playing Lois Lane, especially playing Lois Lane right now at a moment in history where the profession of journalism is a little bit under siege.
Yep.
Is just every journalist ever who
Bitsy's
is
got it.
busting
Elizabeth
their butt right
Tulloch
now
has got it.
and coming under
I love that.
heavy fire
I love
from
that.
both sides and a lot of media scrutiny and everything, and the fact that they're still showing up and doing their jobs.
Yeah, I second that with you. I think anyone who strives to tell the truth in the face of whatever consequences that holds, I think those are some of the most incredible, respectable people. And
texted
I think Lois falls
my girlfriend
in that
to bring me
category.
a thick Sharpie
For
so I can do
me,
some more drawings.
Anyone can be
And maybe
Superman.
some more
I think
paper.
what makes Superman
Tyler,
to me in my eyes is
say that
someone
again.
who,
Say that again,
without
brother.
fail,
Anyone can be
chooses
Superman.
To do the right thing.
I
and all
love
the good
that.
they can do. And
I love
that's
that.
really what it is. And whether that's, saving one person from crossing the street, whether that's saving a falling skyscraper as Superman would do that saves everyone in the building. It's the quality of the efforts and the works, not the quantity.
Superman's
it's not how huge
superpower is
they are,
that he uses what he has to help people, and that message can
Tyler
permeate
Hoechlin,
to everybody.
2 questions. What was it like putting on the suit for the first time?
Great question.
And the second half of the question
Okay, we'll do more art.
are
This is
we
going to be an
going
art
to
stream
see
all day today, 3
Superman
hours.
get a new suit in this new version?
Hi, Hector. Great me. Okay, Netson. Hello. Hi.
Yes,
I've
I think
noticed
putting
you,
this on
senpai.
for the first
Hi.
time, everything about this, there's been so many times.
Oh,
where
nobody
there's been
wants
kind
my
of a
art.
Surreal moment, but I think putting on the suit for the first time was the most surreal moment, just
Very
because.
cool.
Any
I
other
wonder if
time
the
that you would
suit's
be wearing
changed
that
for the
suit is
new
probably
show.
on Halloween.
I wonder.
And that's about it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't know why you're putting it on or why you have one.
Yeah, that's this dude's
so I
job.
think putting it on and actually seeing it and realizing
Halloween every
this
day.
is not just for a day. We're going to shoot this. We're going to tell a story that involves this character. I don't think that it's sunk in, and if it hasn't by now, it probably never will to some weird degree. But I think being the one wearing it as opposed to seeing someone else in it is a different experience.
How long are you shooting
the
for
symbol
exactly?
itself
As
is
long as
so
it takes 3
incredibly
hours.
iconic that I remember when I first started shooting on the show, and it was Elseworlds, and there was a scene with Oliver and the Flash and Grant Gustin and I both were like, we couldn't keep it together when you're wearing a plaid shirt and when you rip it open and it's the S. Like we probably had to do that take quite a few times because everyone's reaction, and like Lois should be used to this, and even I was like
that was a really funny day on set. But that scene, I remember that when we did it and I ripped the shirt off. That's why I said it's different, I think, when you're doing it as opposed to watching someone else do that or being in that. Because when I do it, there's almost a moment of it's been done before and you know what it means. So you're like, is the way I'm doing it weird? Is it right? I don't really know.
Am I flipping my shirt open?
Grant on that
right?
take. It was the push in.
Here you go. Now I got
the camera pushed
red
in.
Sharpie, baby.
It had gone just into the S by the time he did this. But when I ripped the shirt open, I just remember Grant going off screen. It was his audible inhale.
That's
and it was
great.
The funniest thing.
I mean, it's gotta be strange though.
Oh, are we gonna see a new suit?
That's what I asked.
Todd, are we gonna see a new suit?
So okay, I'll take the heat for this one. You know, it's like originally you came on for the crossovers, and that suit just wasn't built to sustain a series. And I think just in everything that we were talking about earlier, you know, it gave us this fresh slate. Yeah, let's make a new suit.
Yes,
so,
that's awesome.
It's gonna be a really badass Superman suit in this show.
Boy, I wonder how it's going to change.
Pretty excited about.
I've kind of grown to like the kind of
so there
cape
you have it, guys.
clasps.
I want to thank Todd and Tyler and Bitsy for participating in this panel talking about Superman and Lois, and for humoring me and drawing the Superman shield. It was really lovely seeing you guys work outside of your comfort zone, bringing artistic, creative abilities
there you
to
go.
the fore.
Superman shield.
And,
Boom.
We'll look forward to
drew that in
seeing
like
the
2
show
seconds.
debut on the CW next year.
Thanks so much, Jim.
Thanks Jim.
Thank you.
Oh, that was a fantastic panel. Available to own on digital. Superman and Lois 2021. Oh, heck yeah. And that's it, baby. That's the panel. Okay. Whoa, it went right into another one. Cool, but that's not what we're going to watch. We're going to watch another one. Okay, here we go. I have to find the right panel. Here we go. It's this one. And let me line this bad boy up. What did you guys think of that Superman and Lois panel? I thought it was super fun. I thought it was so great to be able to listen to Tyler Hoechlin, Todd Helbing talk about it, Bitsy Tulloch, who I love as Lois Lane. I love hearing Bitsy talk about how much she cares about this role and how important she knows that it is. That always just makes me happy to hear actors be like, no, yeah, this isn't just like a paycheck. It's something I care about. And I understand that fans love Lois so much, and she means so much to me. And I love the character of Lois Lane. And I love it when she is done justice. Wha-bam! If you guys have any more requests for superhero symbols, DC superhero symbols, or DC characters to draw, I guess I can do that because now I have my thing of Sharpies that my girlfriend handed to me off screen here. So I'm ready to go. Next panel, baby. Let's go. What is this about? This is about Watchmen. We're about to watch Watchmen Unmasked. And this is incredibly exciting. I don't know what this is going to cover. The HBO. Thank you so much. She brought me some paper. The HBO Watchmen. It's too early. The HBO Watchmen series. So let's jump into it right now. And here we go. I love it. People are like giving me requests for panels. Well, maybe we might get to that. But this is the one we're watching next. It has begun. Watchmen Unmasked on DC FanDome. Here we go. I loved this show. Good old Watchmen.
One of the questions that Watchmen asks, both the original and
I do love that
version, is
voice of Damon Lindelof.
When the police masked, it raised an issue of accountability because, yeah, at some point, well, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy?
Yeah.
Which is what's scary about when you're wearing that mask. It emboldens.
Accountability.
It just instantly makes a person more aggressive.
It's the same as internet
security to
anonymity.
There's this very fascinating psychological contradiction when it comes to masking because it reveals yourself. It also hides yourself.
Can we get homie to stop talking?
I mean, level of anonymity.
Yeah.
If you are wearing a mask or a costume, you can behave in a way that is not the traditional way.
Draw the
that you
flash
behave.
symbol, you coward.
And
all right.
So it can unlock parts of your personality that are repressed. And what are the parts of our personality that we repress? We repress anger. We repress rage. We repress catharsis. The mask is a way of containing all of those things. It's also a way of releasing all those things.
The pilot opens with the Tulsa massacre. For some, they never healed from that. In this country, at least when I was growing up, I didn't know about it until I was well into adulthood, that even existed. And it was one of the bloodiest massacres on American soil. at the time, where there were 300 black people who were slain in the street, and I didn't know anything about it.
There were a lot of people here on the set that never even heard of Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Black people who had never heard of Black Wall Street.
Yep.
Anything calling itself Watchmen would be doing a disservice to the original work if they didn't address sort of the problems of that day.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, you had, you know, nuclear concerns and Cold War.
That's what they call the Watchmen comic book, the
saber-rattling
Old
of
Testament,
Russia.
by the way.
It
That's
was
what they call it.
addressing all of these sort of political questions and political fears at the time. And so when we came into the room, it was very clear from Damon's vision of the show that he wanted to address one of the more pressing concerns of America right now.
Did Redford Asians pay for it?
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Racial tensions and racism that we're seeing bubbling up that I think maybe many people had convinced themselves didn't really exist anymore, but the racism that sort of we see all the time now.
Watchmen Unmasked. Here we go, baby. This is going to be good. This is going to be good.
In the original text, masks were sort of a symbol of anti-authoritarianism.
Yep.
They belonged to these countercultural elements who were trying to hide in the shadows and subvert mainstream authority.
Back in the 1960s and 70s, in this alternate history, vigilantes, individuals who put on masks and fought crime, sort of went from being heroes to being highly suspicious. The culture and society, as we moved through the Nixon administration in a post-Vietnam era, started to become very worried.
Thank you, Green Lantern.
The federal government passed a law to say that it was illegal to put on a mask, even to fight crime, to do good things. In that context,
are you taking shots every time I say yep? That's dangerous.
Here
Don't do that.
in our world, ironically enough, the son of the man who put vigilantes out of business, the new Senator Keene, has passed a law that allows cops to wear masks in order to do their jobs and fight crime.
Masks have been outlawed for everyone but the police.
Crime's down 80% in Tulsa since we passed DOPA. In other cities...
You called it DOPA?
The Defense of Police Act.
The state has actually appropriated
How good was Lori in
power
this
for
season,
themselves.
man? This show, she was
and it feels somehow much
wonderful.
scarier when it's not about vigilantes anymore. When the state becomes the vigilantes.
There was a bill that had passed called Redfordations, which was a form of reparations for victims of the Tulsa riot in Oklahoma.
During the Robert
And
Redford
there were
presidency.
groups, particularly 7th Cavalry, white supremacists, along with other people who felt like they had been left out.
We are no one. We are everyone. We are invisible.
And so you have a group of people in America who's saying, we want things to go back to the way that they were. And their nostalgia is actually a form of racism in disguise. To put a more specific name to it, it's white supremacy.
Senator Joseph King Jr., you are a race traitor.
When you get to meet the cavalry, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when you say, what's happening in our world that's happening in the real world.
So when we see people of color
If somebody's
in this
watching
country
this right now with
having
me,
their rights
and they haven't
or
seen
their
HBO's
fortune
Watchmen
restored
yet,
to them after it was taken
I
away,
can't recommend
there's
a
another
TV
group
show
of people in the
enough.
country who feels like, why should I have to pay for something that happened
And I think
100 years ago?
it is a,
We call those people the 7th Cavalry
to
in our
me,
show.
it
They've
a
appropriated
vital
the mask of
companion piece
Rorschach
to the Watchmen comic book. I'm
prosecute
pointing
their
to my comic book
complaints
up there.
with liberal America.
Vital.
And so here in our very small world of Tulsa, Oklahoma, they commit violence against the police. In order for the police to do their jobs, they need to feel safe. And how they have chosen to feel safe is that they wear masks to hide their identities so that no one knows who they are.
Masks save lives.
Highly
You
recommend
put
it.
in a police force who
Masks save
historically
lives.
has over-policed people of color, and you mask them. That's a terrifying prospect for people of color. It's a nightmare, actually. We are in fear of our lives now. What is it going to be like when the police are wearing masks?
And this music,
So much beauty in our
this
country,
music,
but
Trent
there's a
Reznor,
lot of
Atticus
pain
Ross,
that we haven't talked
the score
about.
is
We're very
phenomenal.
sensitive and very aware of the
Yeah, isn't
racial
she?
violence,
Stephen Baker.
of the police violence, the
An
brutality against
incredible actor.
communities of color and people of color. It's the systemic oppression that people of color experience every single moment of their existence.
What we have now is sort of a parallel universe in which
Hector should shout out every chat. Well,
stands in direct opposition to this white supremacist group, which is actually different from what people expect in the United States of America, or real United States of America, in that.
Here's the other thing I love about this show too, is that Damon Lindelof was asked to do this.
The machinations of white
He rejected it, turned it down. He had,
hand in hand.
I'll get to that, New Rockstars. Excellent question. He had some of an idea of what he would do based on what he was thinking about and what he was learning about in our country today. And he made sure to get a diverse group of producers and writers to contribute to this. And you can see it in the work. I think it's wonderful.
Scary, just enhances
my feelings are, I hope there is not a season 2. And I'm very happy about that.
And so the idea
perfect season of television.
So
flippin' good.
Anonymously, and they're able to cover their faces, and they could be anyone.
That's the point. So
they
you're
could
shouting
be your neighbor.
out all
they
the time.
They could be the person down the street. So that's what makes it very scary, at least from the police perspective.
Yep. There's a little sheriff badge right there.
In the world of Watchmen, there is this character Rorschach.
Yes.
And he had a very
should not be a hero.
worldview.
It's like a Travis Bickle-esque getting the scum off the streets, and that urban decay is like too much, and we need to like get rid of the criminals at all costs, and the government no longer works for you, and you can't trust the police, and there's no justice in the system.
We imagine
was Rorschach right?
That
I'm going to say overall no, but also some of it yes.
Of resenting President Robert Redford and 20 years of liberal policies have latched onto Rorschach's journal. Anyone who sort of aligns on that extreme end of the political spectrum, from alt-right, anti-government types to very conservative white supremacists.
They can make another story in a decade. I agree, capital B's 47. They can make another story in a decade, or 20 years, or 30 years from now.
And the liberal policies of the United States of America.
Rorschach is a person whose viewpoints can be easily molded to fit your own worldview, depending on how you look at his character.
I think that the 7th Cavalry has probably misunderstood a lot of his writings. They just look at his journal and they say, this guy, the way that he saw the world is the way that we see the world.
Pack it up, let's go!
I think that cynicism is very, very heavy in the text, and I think it's certainly something that we wanted to continue in the series. Something that Damon said, I think, very early on in our process of writing the show was that as many departures as we took from the original text, and we do take a lot of departures from the original text, and there's a lot of big swings, the thing that he said he wanted to do was always keep the feeling of Watchmen. And so there would be many times where you'd pitch something out, and he would say either that feels really Watchmen, or that doesn't feel very Watchmen.
Yeah.
As we drop into this world in 2019 in Tulsa, tensions are running high between the 7th Cavalry, which has been dormant for a number of years. The masked cops are actively seeking out and trying to determine who's in the 7th Cavalry and who isn't. And the 7th Cavalry is trying to do the same for the police force.
This is a logo right now. It's not
They're
really
reacting to this idea that there was a time in the United States when the police operated in the interests of white people. Now that the police are not operating in the interests specifically of white people, and they're sort of operating in the interests of taking care of the society that is now
little rough,
people
but
of color because of the red
Wonder Woman?
They lash out in the White Knight, and that's the big event where they go in and break into a number of police officers' homes in the Tulsa police force.
I think is a really good
them in their beds.
refresher for this season, but it's also a good preview of like what this show's about. And I really hope that if you're watching this right now and you have not seen HBO's Watchmen, and you haven't read the comic yet, read the comic book, watch the show. Read the comic, watch the show.
In ridiculous costumes and go out and fight crime in the streets. And it was really interesting to think about in the new world that we were creating for Watchmen. Who is Angela Abar?
I gotta go to the bakery.
Angela Abar.
What about
I'm
her
just humming the music,
feels
you
like
guys.
she can only fully express herself when she is in her Sister Night costume?
So when we started talking about Angela, we were like, how does Angela see the world? What does she think about crime or the culture of the United States? And we started to think that it might be interesting if Angela saw things in a very black and white way. This is a callback to the original Rorschach, who doesn't really see things in the shades of gray. And so it felt like it made sense that her costume would be black and white.
Sister Knight, what a great character. It's a very simple Batman logo, but it's probably my favorite. It's kind of from Batman the Animated Series, the New Gotham Adventures, Gotham Knights era.
You are policing your own community, which is
versus like this one.
I policed my own community, but just taking those experiences and trying to bring them in the room to add some, of authenticity to the story. It helped me get in Angela's head because I know what a policewoman's thinking. As a police officer, there is a tendency to internalize and to develop this shell. And I think the same is for Angela. She's tough on the outside, but there is a vulnerability in her. As someone who has experienced trauma in her past, it has affected and shaped who
Batman
she
Returns.
is.
Batman.
And the woman that she has become.
As you start to peel back the onion of
and that was a little girl who was in
she's been running
Shazam,
away and
right?
running into something at the same time, always, all of her life.
You are so dedicated making the logos.
Sister
Yes.
Knight helps her to
The
deal
Barga,
with that,
I am, yes.
and also helps her to hide behind that so that she doesn't have to
Do the Manhattan
deal with
symbol.
the past.
Okay.
Angela and
If
her
I got it right.
colleagues are fighting a noble fight against the 7th Cavalry, and you root for them. But I think that any fan who's rooting for them should also be doing it with a little bit of skepticism in their heart.
Kind of looks
You know how you
like
can
a
tell the
Simpson
difference between
eye.
a masked cop and a vigilante? No. Me neither.
People wear masks because they want to hide something about themselves. Putting on a mask, it's maybe not necessarily the best way to go about achieving justice.
I think
the original Watchmen was set in a very amoral world. There was not a lot
I think
of
that how much
right
we've
and wrong.
thought about
and I think
anonymity
that's where we find
and
ourselves
masks
today.
from the 80s to
There is
now,
not
very
a
different.
clear right and wrong anymore. We're all sort of grasping for the true north, and I don't think that our series represents a clear right and wrong, a clear moral and immoral.
Firearms release is authorized.
The world is inherently amoral, and none of the characters in our series have the answers.
I ate good guys for breakfast.
Gina King. So good.
So I think that that's where we were this season was, okay, we're going to lead the audience to a point, but it's like it's up to the audience to decide ultimately, well, where does the story go after that? To leave them with something to think about.
David Ford, you just got here. We're in the middle of watching a Watchmen
Watchmen is
Unmasked
about
panel.
Watchmen kind of argues that anyone that seeks out power, seeks out empowerment, even for noble causes, even to address problems that need to be solved in our world, most likely they will not handle that power well. They will be
I drew it right.
corrupted by the very means of empowerment that gives them agency, that allows them to even do good things in our world.
How do we as a society feel
This is
about
our second
heroes,
panel that we're watching.
most notably superheroes or people who wear masks and fight crime?
What the original Watchmen text asks of you and what this show asks of you is to always be skeptical of those in authority and to understand that people in authority very oftentimes have more insidious reasons for wanting that authority and wanting that power. Yes, we want Watchmen, but who watches the Watchmen? It should be all of us. We should all be skeptical of all the Watchmen in society.
That's right. Oh man, that was a good panel. I need to get this Blu-ray, you guys. This movie, this TV show is so good. And like I was saying earlier, it is a necessary, vital companion piece to the comic book. Oh, I want to start that next panel, I do. But we're going to skip over to another one. Question, you seen Crisis, right? Kevin Conroy played Batman on Earth 99. 1999 was when Batman Beyond started, if I'm not mistaken. What Earth should Batfleck and Battison Battinson be from? Is it Battison or Battinson? Battison, right? I'm not sure. I would love to know the designations what those Earths are from. Hopefully that would be revealed at some point. Okay, so what site is this one? Hello, Lorenzo. This is the DC FanDome once-in-a-lifetime user interactive experience event brought to you by Warner Brothers. This is New Rockstars. You're in the New Rockstars YouTube channel, and I'm going to go to our next panel of the day. We're doing this until 1 p.m., maybe a little bit later. It doesn't matter. It matters is how long it's going to take us to get through the set number of panels that we have. And the next panel that we're going to go to might be a little bit of an offshoot, but hopefully it's going to be something super interesting and super cool. So let's go ahead and find it. I now have to find the panel. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Yes, I think I got it. Here it is. Here we go. Let me line this up. I think right there will work. And I think we're ready to start. Next, we're going to watch Real Life Superheroes, the story of Muckle Mannequins, Germany. Now, this panel is going to be in German. This is how international DC FanDome is, y'all. This is going to be in German with subtitles. So I'm going to try not to distract too much, but I might talk over it. But we're all going to be reading, so I'm going to try not to distract myself too much. 1 p.m. West Coast time, West Coast of the United States. That's the Pacific Coast time is the time zone. So it's Rabat Badenbat. Thank you, John Gomez. It's very helpful. Great. Bat. I'm definitely not reading from a script. No, I'm not. I am not. I just made all that stuff up. Couldn't you tell, Blue Bolt? Because it was kind of gibberish. But a huge thanks again to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this live stream and for New Rockstars for asking me to come and hang out with them. And now we're going to start the next panel. It's in German, so we all have to pull up our Lederhosen and really pay attention. Apologies in advance to any of our German fans that are watching. Whoa! It's pretty loud. I'm going to turn that down a little bit so I can hear myself for my own real-life superheroes. The story of Muckle Mannequins. Here we go.
Ich bin auf dem Weg nach Mannheim. Hier besuche ich die Firma Muckle Mannequins, die seit einigen Jahrzehnten die ganze Welt mit ihren lebensgroßen DC-Comic-Figuren begeistert. Ich zeige euch, wie die DC-Figuren kreiert werden und wer die Macher hinter den Kulissen sind.
Wow, this is cool. This is going to be legit. Okay.
Hallo, Herr Muckle. Ich freue mich tierisch hier zu sein.
Herr Muckle.
Das
Matthias
sieht schon
Muckle.
unfassbar beeindruckend aus.
Yeah,
man
Cyber Flash,
sieht einfach die komplette Justice League und Aquaman dort hinten, Shazam, alles sind da.
It's all about superhero names. They're the same in every language, baby.
Woher hat man die Inspiration zu sagen, ich mache ein Unternehmen, was solche Figuren produziert?
This is so cool.
Ja gut, die Anfänge waren also da ganz anders. Ich habe vor 25 Jahren angefangen mit Schaufensterfiguren. Fand ich irgendwie ganz cool. Wir hatten eine Firma in der Tschechei, wir hatten eine
Händlerfirma. I've been to Czech Republic, love Czech Republic.
In Kontakt mit einer kleinen Fabrik, die Schaufensterfiguren produziert hat. Und habe gedacht, ein cooles Produkt, kaufen ein paar ein, versucht die hier in Deutschland an den Mann zu bringen
Germany,
und
hat
super funktioniert. Und ab dann irgendwann
2:30 a.m. Skipper? Wow.
Ist ganz nett.
Can't see the subtitles? Wait, seriously?
Andere Produkte, die man in
Can you guys see the subtitles? Let me know if you can see the subtitles.
Eine lebensgroße Promotion
kind of important.
Könnte gut kommen. Und das war letztendlich die Idee,
fit in the frame.
Lebensgroße Computerspielfiguren zu erstellen und zu produzieren und auch Filmfiguren.
Film figures,
das waren also die Anfänge.
Und
that was the beginning.
Hier,
okay, good. No, yes, no, yes.
Danach und es ist unglaublich.
Yeah, Hector, they're really small. Jay says, nah, Hector, they're really small.
Also wirklich
okay, hard to read. Okay, well, hi from the Netherlands. Hi.
Das ist schon eine Figur.
Hard to see. I don't know. Subtitles are good. I'm getting mixed.
Persönlich.
Yes, but they're really small. Can you blow up the screen you're looking at? Is there any way to do that? Zoom in on. Ignore me for a second, but just this. Why do you think Superman is the best? I'll just read them to you.
Ja, gut. Superman muss ich sagen.
Well, I grew up with Superman, and I'm going to do it in a German accent. In my childhood, I owned Superman and Batman comic books. I always thought that Superman was super cool. Absolute cool. I tried to draw Superman. Hey! I even tried to model a figure, which did not work at all. I always loved this character, and I need to admit that it's absolutely amazing that today I produce figures like this. Absolute amazing. A smile childhood dream became reality. Also, for you it's Superman, but I'm looking right next to me.
Bei Ihnen ist Superman und
And there she stands, Wonder Woman, from the new movie.
Wonder Woman in Gold.
Wonder Woman in gold with Flugens, I mean wings.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Am I allowed to? Yeah. Hooray, hello, hi.
Wow.
Wow.
Also natürlich erstmal
Obviously, eye catcher. You really get the feeling that Gal Gadot is right there.
Das ist das Besondere.
What is so special about this figure?
Besides
the fact that it's brand new. Indeed, it is brand new and very golden, one must say, totally. We have Wonder Woman standing here with her wings attached. She is produced in a way where we can remove her wings, which means we have Wonder Woman with and without wings. The special thing is that we have produced the wings in combination with the base.
Flügel mit der Base einfach so
zu
produzieren, dass wir sie auch ohne
so that you can set up the wings with or without Wonder Woman. Therefore, the clients can stand on top of the base with the wings in the background. That's super cool, and you can take photos with it. That's really cool. I would like that. Can you do me a favor? You really feel that the figures have the character's aura. So let's leave Wonder Woman over here and sit down over there. Thank you. Because there are a few things, Mr. Mugler, you have told me quite a bit about your company already, but I'm very curious about the process behind the production of DC figures, because I don't think they get created overnight. There must be a very elaborate process behind it. Indeed, it is a lot of work. 15 years ago, the figures were classically modeled with clay. Due to the development of 3D design, we started using 3D printing 7 to 8 years ago. There's Batman Hush. First step, the figure needs to be designed at the computer. The first step, the figure. This means that in the past, the prototypes were made by hand and then used as templates for the final product. Correct. Back when you had a piece of clay, which you would use to model the figure with. Over weeks and weeks, you sat in front of a lump of clay. You always needed to make sure that it would not get wet, otherwise it would melt away until the next morning. Today, the 3D designer creates everything at the computer. It's a little Arnold, it's a little Austrian. Today, if you need to make adjustments to the design, it's fairly easy to make the changes with some clicks compared to the past where you needed to start from scratch. Well, it's not that easy. You need to model the details at the computer. The good thing is that most of the time we receive scans, so 3D files, with which the 3D artists have already saved a lot of work. But the fine details have to be the surface, for instance. Mr. Freeze is here. In the past, the details need to be added with clay on top of the prototype. It's a German company that does statues. Yeah, today this is much easier. I'm trying to read because people were saying they couldn't read it. We have talked about prototypes before they get mass-produced. But how does the production of a prototype work? This is like reverse sign language that I'm doing. The first step is the design of the 3D printing files. With the help of different artworks or raw scanned data, we can try to create the 3D file digitally. Imagine, we are sitting at our computers for days or weeks and try to model the figure until it is final. We need to determine the different fragments of a figure accurately in the 3D file, so it can be correctly prepared for printing. In between, the design needs to get approved by the film studio. This process takes several weeks. Yeah, I'm mixing German and Italian. If the 3D file is the final, the 3D printing of the individual fragment starts. Due to the size, we produce it to the scale of 1:1, 1:1, 1:1. We need to print the pieces with several different printers. When the individual pieces are completed, they are put together as an entire figure. So you print an arm, you print a leg, you print a head. After the initial print, the quality is usually pretty good. But there are always misprints. Each fragment will then be polished by hand to correct the errors. Just switch the screens and just listen to this too. I can't. We literally cannot switch the screens. Every piece gets revised before they are put together. This is a headache. I can't. Should I stop? Should I stop? Better because I'm getting mixed signals here. Better than subtitles. Hector, shut up. I don't know what to do. You tell me.
Und um einen besseren Eindruck zu bekommen, ist es sehr hilfreich, dass die Prototypteile komplett in einer Farbe lackiert werden. Wir nehmen hier immer Grau.
Gargoyle too, that's really good.
In Grau kommen die ganzen Fehler raus. Das heißt, es wird komplett alles grundiert. Und der
ready to leave. Hey, maybe hang out?
Zusammenbau vorliegen, werden sie dann auch wie ein Puzzle.
If you could read the subtitles, I apologize. Definitely do not stop.
Eine Base, die vom Grundaufbau,
Base looks like an eagle, yeah.
Das ist ein Stone Base. Da wird dann die Beine draufgesetzt, da kommt der Oberkörper drauf, da kommen die Arme
And this is cool that this figure is the comic book Batman, not based on a movie actor, but like, that's what they're trying to recreate.
Bei einer lebensgroßen Figur drauf achten.
Oh, that was weird.
Es wird ruckzuck 2-3 Zentimeter.
Put the chin through here to fit inside the cowl.
Das heißt, wir versuchen dann immer anhand noch zusätzlichem Bildmaterial das abzugleichen, dass die Figur gerade steht, dass sie der Proportion entspricht.
Can't read them on my phone. Well, okay.
Und so ist letztendlich
to anybody who's annoyed by this, apologies. Please just mute the stream for a second and then read along. But I'm going to read for people who cannot read the subtitles.
Genau wie auf den Bildvorlagen.
If we're happy,
dann können wir anfangen,
then we start to create modeling templates.
Die wiederum aus
These are made of
Silikon gemacht werden. Silikon ist ein Vorteil,
the advantage of silicone is that every detail of the prototype can be maintained.
Vom Prototyp erhalten werden. Das heißt, feine
Fine skin pores, fabric textures,
Stofftexturen
can be transferred due to silicone molds. Oh, it looks great. The goal of a statue is that
die Kleider anhat, dass es tatsächlich
from afar it looks like it's wearing actual clothing. Yeah,
und das ist
so
also immer unser Ziel.
It's our goal that people question whether the statue is an actual person or just a figure.
Sehen, dass es wirklich, man sollte überlegen, steht da jetzt die richtige Figur
oder
ist es tatsächlich eine Figur. Das ist also immer unser Ziel.
This is our biggest goal.
Wahnsinn, wie
awesome. How incredibly elaborate. You see the final product and think how cool. Yeah, but you totally forget that many months you work on it and all the sleepless nights. It's always exhausting, even though the figure looks rather simple at the beginning. Then when you're in the middle of it, you always question the implementation process of, for instance, the textile, the texture, the paint, the colors, the makeup, the base. Obviously, we always try to do something completely new.
Das heißt, wir haben zum Beispiel bei
we have integrated a voice unit, a motion sensor into the Shazam figure. It's a very cool feature. Cool feature. Shazam's finger flashes and he says, your cell phone is charged. His breast illumination starts to light up.
Und das macht das Ganze.
This makes the entire thing very vivid.
Wie lange dauert das?
How long does it take for a figure to be printed? From the moment you push the green button until it's ready to be assembled.
Wie lange dauert das?
How long does it take? It depends. If we print a head with a skin texture,
dann kann jetzt
then it can take up to 2 to 3 days until the print is completed.
Das heißt, ein ganzer Druck von einer Figur,
which means the printing of one figure can take up to 15, 20, 25 days.
Und das ist jetzt schon in,
and this is super fast already. Correct. Super schnell. Amazing. That sounds very challenging. Also, when I look around the room, we have looked at some statues in detail. Which one is the most difficult DC figure that you have ever created? Let's have a look at Justice League, particularly Cyborg was a Flash. These two gave us headache for days. How do you implement a production? How to implement a production right away? Should we use real rubber, thread? Should we try to print it? You need to do different tests. Oftentimes you create a prototype with a certain vision. But then practically you realize it doesn't work. You need to go back to the beginning. Aquaman is a great example. My daughter was very excited to see photos of Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He has a scar across his right brow, which we certainly wanted to get right. It had to be the right shape, the right size, it needed to be perfect. The prototype turned out great, the scar was very accurate. The prototype was shipped to the Chinese manufacturer. And the people on site know that I'm very fussy when it comes to details of a figure. And in case of errors of the prototype, it always gets fixed.
Und sie haben sofort erkannt,
And with
dass
Aquaman,
ein
they have
Druckfehler
noticed
war
a
und die
printing error
Nase
at the
oder die
brow
Augenbraue
and
wurde
fixed it.
komplett aufgefügt.
Oh
Und
no!
Aquaman hatte da nicht
Aquaman
mehr
did not have his famous scar anymore. That's basically, they basically improved it for the verse. They wanted you to do you a favor and accidentally destroyed the most important detail. Yes, this backfired. We needed to print the head again. Shoot. But now you can see it beautifully.
Mit Narbe.
With scar.
Mit Narbe
With the
und
scar
im
in
Detail.
detail.
Ihre Figuren sind weltweit
The statues are known
bekannt und sie kommen
worldwide, and I guess you
wahrscheinlich
travel a
auch
lot too.
schon gut in der Welt irgendwie rum. Gibt es
Can you think of a
irgendeinen
moment
den Sie
when
in
you
Erinnerung
realized,
haben, wo Ihnen dann bewusst wurde, okay,
okay,
wirklich,
my
auf
life-size
der ganzen
figures
Welt
are
stehen
seriously
mittlerweile
spreading
meine
around the
lebensgroßen
world?
Figuren.
Das ist also,
I need to admit,
muss ich sagen,
this is
ein
always
tolles
an amazing
Erlebnis,
experience.
wenn wir Projekte machen,
Every time we're able to
für Warner
implement a
und man
project
sieht dann
with Warner
wirklich,
Brothers
dass
and
die
we see the
Figuren
figures are sent across the
verschieden
globe.
weltweit. Also wir haben beim
We see that
Projekt
for the release of Batman vs. Superman,
haben wir,
we
glaub
sent
ich,
figures to
über
over 50 different
verschiedene
countries
Länder
for the
weltweit
release.
ausgeliefert. Und
Ah,
wenn
look
wir
it.
dann,
It's
also
always
das ist auch
my
so ein bisschen
pet issue to request
mein Steckenpferd.
in-situ photos from the different
wir
countries.
fordern dann immer Bilder an von den verschiedenen Ländern, wenn wir dann sehen, wenn eine Figur in Korea, in Japan, in Australien,
DC figures
in
are set up
Kanada,
in Korea,
USA,
Japan, Australia,
wenn sie
Canada,
weltweit
USA,
stehen und wir bekommen dann
worldwide.
die Bilder, das ist
And
also
when we
mega
receive
cool.
photos of it, that's
Also ich war
really awesome.
vor
10, 15 years ago, I went to a licensing fair in New York.
15
He
Jahre
did
her
some
war ich in
sightseeing
New
as
York
well.
auf der Lizenzmesse. Habe mir das
I went to the Empire State Building and across the street.
Und als ich aus dem Empire State Building rauskam, ging über die Straße, schau in
I passed
Schaufenster,
the
da
shop
steht
window
unser
and saw
Superman
our
drin.
Superman
Das
in
ist
it.
ein
That was an
absolut
incredible
cooles Erlebnis,
experience.
wo ich denke, okay,
I thought,
steht
wow,
auch in New
okay, we have displayed in New York.
Das klingt
It sounds incredibly
wahnsinnig
exciting.
cool. Wenn ich jetzt aber
As
zu
a
mir
final
zu
question,
Hause,
I can
das ist
imagine
für
this
mich jetzt
showroom
so eine schöne
being my living
abschließende
room.
Frage. Ich kann mir das auch als Wohnzimmer sehr gut vorstellen. Gibt es denn für
So is there a chance for
Privatmann
anyone
überhaupt
out
die
there to
Möglichkeit,
acquire
an so
one
eine
of your
Figur,
figures?
dranzukommen? Und was muss man tun?
What do I need to do
um
to buy a
von
figure from
Mukla eine
Mukla
Figur
mannequins?
sich, auch daheim reinstellen zu können?
To set up
Geht
in my
das?
living room. Is
Das
that even
funktioniert
possible?
natürlich.
Of course.
Der
This is for
Geldbeutel
sure
soll nicht
possible.
genug sein.
The wallet would be well filled, though.
Man muss sagen, die sind nicht
Honestly
ganz so
said,
günstig, die
the life-size
lebensgroßen
figures
Figuren.
are
Das ist
not
also
that
oft
cheap.
natürlich auch ein
Often it's a
Platzproblem.
matter of
Aber es gibt
sufficient
sehr viele
space.
private
There are a lot of
Sammler,
private collectors
die
out there
unsere Figuren
who have our
zu
figures at
Hause
home,
im ganzen
spread across the
Haus oder in der
house.
ganzen Wohnung aufstellen und es ist dann immer lustig,
It's very funny
wenn
when
wir
we
da
receive
Bilder
photos of a
bekommen, wo
completely
wirklich
packed
das
living room or
Wohnzimmer
bedroom.
voll steht, das Schlafzimmer, wo es heißt, na, ich muss jetzt mit meiner Frau schauen,
Sometimes the
ob ich
collectors
die
say,
Genehmigung bekomme, noch
I
eine
need to
weitere
get
Figur
my wife's approval if they want to buy another
Und da
figure.
gibt's also wirklich
There are a lot
ganz
of fun collectors that are very
abgefahrene
keen.
Sammler, die da also ganz
Go to
abgespaced
muklavision.com
die ganzen
to have
Großfiguren
the
zu
life-size
sich nach Hause
figures
zu
at
holen.
home.
Herr Mukla, vielen
Mr.
Dank
Mukla, thank you so
für
much
diesen
for
tollen
these
Einblick,
insights we've
heute.
got from
Ich
you
habe,
today.
sehr viel
I've learned a
gelernt
lot
und
and I
habe
really
vor
want
allen
many
Dingen
of these
jetzt
DC figures
auf
in
sehr
my
viele
living room.
Figuren in meinem Wohnzimmer. Vielen Dank.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, we did it, y'all. It does sound like Scottish, a little Irish slipping in. Danke, everybody. Danke, everybody. Danke for putting up with that. Wow. I can't believe I read that whole panel mostly. That is just unreal attention to detail. To any German here, he's not offending you. I apologize as well. Yes, I could not help but do the the German accent. Whoo! Hector needs a break. No, I didn't. I just needed some carbonated water. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Great accent work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Came to drop a like now. I'm just going to go. Bye. LMAO. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know if I would get one of those figures. Would you guys buy one? If you had the money, what figure would you get? That's the question. Money is no object, but you could get one figure. Which one would you get? I kind of like the light up Shazam deal. That was kind of fun. What's next? Great question. Let's just get right into it. Okay, we did that one. We have got, this is very exciting, we have got 3 more panels lined up. And then I'm going to send you my babies on your own, and you can go and explore the rest of the DC FanDome interactive experience on your own and rewatch this panel and really read the subtitles and see how good of a job I did. But Batman with all the gadgets, Batman or Flash, the Flash. I think I've seen some of those close up. When we were on the set of DC Daily, we had some of those mannequin-esque figures, and the Flash has crazy detail. There's little, like, almost metal cords that are, you know, a part of that Ezra Miller Flash costume design. So the Flash is a really, really cool one. Flash is a really, really cool one. Why am I echoing? I'm in my garage, maybe? Sorry, Jared. I'm in my garage. Should we maybe move it over to something down here, something like this? Maybe a little Hector mannequin. Bad mic, probably, Jared. Well, it's a Yeti. I don't know. I think it's okay. Should I change something on the, hang on, let me check with my producers here. If there's any audio issues, they're going to let me know. Any epic announcement reveal yet? Are we going to get any? Well, there's a bunch of different cool stuff. We watched the Superman and Lois panel at the beginning of the day, and they did announce that the Tyler Hoechlin Superman is going to get a new suit for that show, which is actually super cool. All right, let's get up to the next panel. The next one is, if you're a Batman fan, you're going to like it. You're going to like this panel. I got to find it. Okay, I just had some carbonated water, had a little bit of a burp. I'm sorry. Oh, there it is again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Here we go, baby. Let's do this. This is our next panel. Legacy of the Bat. Extended. I love things that are extended. All right, here we go. Don't save that clip. And we started. Boom, baby. Boom. When we were talking about Lois and Superman. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Legacy of the Bat.
Oh, awesome.
The DC FanDome panel where we take a deep dive
Batman,
not
baby.
just into Batman's history, but how he has created and inspired proteges that have grown into an extended Bat family.
Strap in. 35 minutes, y'all.
I'm Ambi, and I am pleased to introduce our esteemed panel of Bat experts.
The Bat family. This is cool. This is exciting.
So first off, much like the Caped Crusader himself, our first panelist is a legend in the comics industry.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Living legend. Living legend.
Exciting to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
I can just sit back. I don't have to read this.
Batwoman from the pages of the comics and bring
Wow.
her to life on your TV screens. And soon she'll be ushering an all-new vigilante crime fighter into the world. Please welcome the showrunner for television's Batwoman,
Wow.
Caroline Dries.
Hi.
Very cool. Very
Yes.
cool. We're getting a
You've
bunch
already
of
seen
Batman
the
stuff.
announcement from this next panelist's new video game, Gotham Knights. So please
Wow, they're
welcome
going
back
everywhere.
the
This is
creative
cool.
director for WB Games Montreal, Patrick Reddick.
Hey, how's it going?
Please, everyone.
They got a comic
I
book
want to
person,
welcome,
Batwoman TV
the
show person,
legendary
video game
John
person.
Ridley.
Thank you.
John
Our
Ridley,
next panelist
writer,
portrays one of the
screenwriter.
most well-known longtime members of the Bat family.
Dick Grayson.
He pushed this character into a whole new light when he uttered just 2 little words. From Warner Brothers
Batman.
Television's Titans, it's Nightwing himself, Brenton Thwaites.
Brenton Thwaites.
Hey guys. Brenton, you are the first person
met him
to
once. He's
play
super nice.
a live-action version of Nightwing.
Met him a couple times.
But
He's super
it's
nice.
been a journey over the past 2 seasons of the show.
Mhm.
And a pretty bold decision was made to kick off the show by having Robin say 2 little words of the now infamous Batman, to be kind. Talk about that. Talk about the show. I mean, I'm a fan. I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where those 2 words came from.
Gross. Why are we watching Hector?
I just got a script, and I guess I just did my job. I think it was a reshoot, right? So we shot that scene already.
It was a
and,
reshoot.
it was
That's
missing
wild.
something. And so we reshot a few fight scenes to feel more brutal, to feel like Dick Grayson is not just fighting crime. He's stepping over the line a little bit here. And the Batman was thrown in there to show that he
Hi, Dark
is
Reaper.
attempting to
Hi.
break away from Batman, and he's kind of sick of fighting crime in Batman's shadow, and that's kind of what
Ooh.
season 1 was about. And then at the
G
end of
Money
season 2,
Stacks
obviously, he
555 says, how did you
delves
feel
into
and
Nightwing,
react
which
to
is a
the black
character that,
actress
for
playing
me, kind of
Batwoman for season 2?
symbolizes
I'm very
putting
excited.
away
I'm
his
really
past
interested
and
to see
finally
how
developing into
that
this
whole
character that can lead
new
and that has a
character
moral compass and
being
that can
the
fight
taking on the
crime in a
mantle
way
of
that he
Batwoman is
truly
going
believes.
to work
That
in
was
the next
great 'cause,
season. Very excited.
The Batman, all jokes aside, the Batman and then
Aussie Batman, yeah.
that initial
Aussie Nightwing.
fight right before that was such a great tone setter for the world of Titans. As far as like, this
You
is
gotta
not
chase.
your childhood Titans. Like, this is
Yeah, it's
this
definitely
is
a
gonna be
rated
crazy, it's gonna
R
be rough,
show.
It's going to be crazy. But then to also see the evolution of your character from that, and how he's coming to terms in how he is not Batman, and how he is different from him, and how he can step into his own superhero shoes.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that it was important for the writers and the stunt team and myself also, now that I look back on it, that, Robin wasn't a guy that just would drop from the stairwell in the alleyway and kick ass,
Yeah.
He got beat too, and to start
Big
from
love
a
to you,
position
Ricky.
of,
Big love to you from
popping a few punches and
California and the
and
United
kind of,
States. Big love to Italy.
Almost getting defeated, let's say, and going on this journey to where
How
he's
did you
now,
guys feel about
a
that
superhero
evolution from
that,
Robin to
is a
Nightwing
little bit
in
more
the show
intelligent,
Titans?
has learned from his
How'd you feel
mistakes.
about it?
is interesting to play. Yeah.
I don't think they've released a trailer for season 3 yet, Chase. I don't believe.
Come into play with Jason Todd. What was that like to explore in terms of that relationship?
Jason Todd is a rebellious character who doesn't have the same respect for authority that, let's say, Dick Grayson has. And I think Dick Grayson tries to mentor him and tries to offer up that open channel should Jason want it. And I think that he watches
too much
Jason
to watch.
make
You're not kidding.
Mistakes and tries
J.I.
to
Orts.
step in, and Jason doesn't want that. I think that's more or less the relationship there. But when I was doing it, when I was performing it,
any DC characters anybody wants me to try to draw, I try to draw one.
That Jason had that connection with Batman. He had that. He was filling the void.
Hashtag Nightwing is not Batman. I know.
Perhaps, and I definitely think that
he's Australian, I believe.
And that
Chase,
kind of family,
not English,
brother rivalry played into the relationship for sure.
Down under.
He got to drive the Batmobile, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got a Jeep.
It's a Hawkman. All right, I'll give you. Let's do Hawkman.
Dick Grayson and Jason Todd were both mentored by Batman.
Yep.
But there's another member of the Bat family with a different origin. I'm speaking, of course, about Batwoman, because Batwoman's not a sidekick. She never was a sidekick. She entered the Bat family a fully realized superhero.
I'm going to my encyclopedia to grab
yes
an image
and no.
of
I don't
Hawkman.
think anyone says that they're a superhero and then is therefore a superhero. I think the fun that we had with season 1 is Kate finding her way into being a superhero. It's all about the learning curve. And then it's the moral responsibility of learning, like, how do I deal with this and how do I best represent the Bat legacy? So it was really just about her arc into becoming the superhero.
It's funny because I've tried saying I'm a superhero.
Didn't work?
Doesn't work. That's going to be interesting to see that arc played
you talked
out.
about season 1, and it's been such a great ride, and I'm looking forward to season 2. But let's talk about season 1, and about your Batwoman. It's a very personal story in terms of what Kate Kane is going through. Why was that story so special for you?
Well, it was special for a million reasons. I think what makes our Batwoman unique is that the way I decided to tell the story is that Kate Kane ultimately discovered her cousin Bruce was Batman, and she literally takes his suit and has it adjusted so it fits her body. So my opportunity as a writer was to say, how do we represent Batman through the eyes of a woman, and in this case, through the eyes of a lesbian woman? And part of her growth was realizing, as Kate, I am a lesbian and I'm open and out and comfortable, but there's this irony in I put on this costume and I automatically hide that thing that makes me so unique. I think an important story that we tell this season is that Batwoman literally comes out of the closet, so that people see
thing for me to draw some Hawkman
cool
action.
Badass CEO,
Here we go.
Cool girl. I want to see the superhero that I'm looking up to on the rooftop.
I can do.
Oh, that is somebody I could be someday.
You're now poised to break even more ground in season 2 with the first Black actress to ever play Batwoman, which is huge.
In live action, yeah, that's
awesome.
very cool.
Starting season 2, we had this
Very
challenge.
exciting.
We knew
I think if you go back to Mystery of the Batwoman, the animated movie, direct-to-video, I believe there was maybe an actress of color who voiced Batwoman in that too. So you got to go back to DC history, baby.
Happens and kind of, oh, did you get a new tattoo? And do that version. Or do I lean into? I always tell writers when there's a big problem, instead of trying to band-aid it, lean into the drama, and that's the drama. That's the story. So Kate Kane has disappeared in season 2, and it was controversial to the fans because of course they love Kate Kane, and so of course we're going to keep her part of the show. But it also gave us this really unique opportunity to create a new Batwoman, and I decided to make up a character named Ryan Wilder, who is the opposite of Kate Kane. Ryan Wilder is a character that Batwoman needs to protect. And so it just really provided a new rich storytelling device for us, and we couldn't be happier to have our new Batwoman.
I love that. I respect that. I respect the hell out of that.
We have Ryan Wilder herself, the new Batwoman, with us here today.
She's going to be in the panel?
Welcome, Javicia Leslie.
Yeah.
Javicia Leslie, wow.
And how does it feel to be the new face of Batwoman?
It's an honor.
This guy has a beautiful voice too. This guy has an awesome voice.
It's funny because when I found out I found out an hour before everybody else found out. So I was pretty shocked along with
That's
the entire
crazy.
world. And then I was like looking through some of the articles, and one of the publications put Javicia Leslie is breaking history by being the first Black woman to play Batwoman. And then it changed for me. It changed. It was never. I think initially it was never about me, because I understand the world of being a superhero when it's not about you. You know, I love superhero movies, superhero shows. But then when you realize that in real life you're being seen as a superhero by being the first of something, that is just truly an honor, and it's exciting. And it
That's
just
so
kinda
cool. I'm
goes
so
back
happy
to,
for her. I'm so
like,
stoked.
When I was a
That's
kid,
great.
and I remember saying, you know, I'd read books, like history books with Dr. Martin Luther King and Josephine Baker and Eartha Kitt and Nina Simone, and I would say to my friends and my mom, like, this is what I want to do. I want my art to put me in history books. I want to use my art as activism, and I want that to be something that kids learn about for generations. And oh my gosh, you just have to know that whatever you actually speak is possible, and it's your way of telling the universe, this is what I want, and this is what I want to attract. So it's amazing.
Never drawn this Hawkman, y'all. This is very interesting.
I hope that it continues to inspire other people to follow their dreams.
You know, reading, you know, the comics and seeing these superheroes as a Black man, I would, you know, we wouldn't see Batman. I wouldn't see him as a white guy. I would just see him as Batman. And so then it allowed me to then imagine myself as Batman. So then,
same.
See someone playing Batwoman.
This is not a repeat. These are new panels that are available to everybody.
Playing
Gamer.
That's
Potheds?
I
think it's how Potheds?
It lets people know that.
So we're watching me take us through a couple of key
can
panels.
step into the shoes.
This is very exciting.
Yeah, it's funny every time I'm talking to Caroline about Ryan, and then also Batwoman. I always say, well, you know, she a sister. She ain't just, you know, like there's something to that, because as a Black woman, when you see that textured hair, you know, the Black woman shape, that is a representation, you know, just that naturally is a representation. So no, I agree with you. And what I love about DC, what I love about WB, what I love about Berlanti is that you have these iconic characters, and they've done this amazing job making them so many different ethnicities and shapes and sizes and things that weren't as typical as you may have imagined when you were a kid and seeing them. And what DC has done, what WB has done with Berlanti.
Okay, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this. This Hawkeye's looking pretty good.
No matter what the color of your skin is.
Now, how do you see this incarnation of Batwoman fitting into the full legacy of the Bat?
I think I need.
You know, that's going.
The full legacy of the Bat.
Weirdly, it's weird for me because that means that I'm a part of that history. But again, when I step away from it even being anything about me, it's now a Black woman is a part of that history. And so I was like watching when they would all.
How long
come
is the stream going to be?
together
We
for,
got
you know, the episodes.
2 more
where all
panels
the
after
different
this.
characters
Legacy
and
of the
eras
Bat
come
panel.
together. And I imagine
Pop
a
quiz.
Black woman now standing
When did
next to
Hawkman
Supergirl.
first appear? When did
And,
Hawkman
you
first
know,
appear? I'm
and
looking at it
Flash,
right
and
now.
I think that is just
Give me the issue.
amazing.
Give me the
And
month.
it's just like
Give me the
it's
year.
a community of people that
Don't look it up.
find something to connect to. Not that,
Okay,
I
I
mean,
wanna
that's the great
see if
part
this will
about
work. Let's see if this will work.
WB Berlanti. It's like they've already done that, and now
No,
we're just
okay.
adding another
Nope.
iconic superhero.
I'm gonna do it with the Sharpie the whole
little
way.
Black
The whole way. Here we
girls,
go.
You know, bisexual girls, lesbian girls, trans, like they can all see and connect to, and I think that that's super dope.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's awesome about how does our new Batwoman fit into the Batwoman legacy? Well, at first she doesn't fit. That's the story. She doesn't fit.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Literally,
sense.
She makes it fit her. And in making it fit her, she makes the Bat accessible to this whole other world of people who normally might not have had a hero to look up to. And so she, you know, puts her stamp on the legacy.
But,
Okay.
the initial response to Javicia's casting, you know, has been overwhelmingly positive, which I'm super happy about, and we're so excited for the fans to be able to see her in action in you know, this season. My question is, will we find her in the comic books?
Ah, good question. Good question,
2
Jim.
words, Jim Lee.
Jim Lee.
John Diggle.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true. John Diggle made it from the show to the comics.
Very
That's right.
likely, yeah. This is something that we excel at. We love these kinds of challenges. And we were kind of poring over old issues of Batwoman. Is there a way to seed some girl that's living in a car in the background?
That's such a great comic book answer.
But this idea that characters can be created in other media and kind of enter into the canon of publishing is something.
Going as fast as I can, y'all. Please be patient with me.
Like Harley Quinn came out of the Batman animated
That's right.
series.
So did Renee Montoya.
Jimmy Olsen, I think, came out of the radio.
Ooh, so did Kryptonite, coming out of the radio show as well. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, we're excited.
That's right. 19. The correct answer is Flash Comics #1. January 1940. January 1940 was the first appearance of Hawkman. Nicely done, everybody. Nicely done. I got the
make believe. We're creating this fiction as we go forward, and having these kind of challenges are things that.
Ooh, the toughest part of Hawkman is this dude has a hairy chest. Okay.
You know, like Carolyn said, you have to lean into it.
How am I doing this? How am I doing this?
Some really amazing ideas.
All right, this is what I want to do.
We're looking at all sorts of possibilities.
Jim Lee, the clock's ticking.
The clock's ticking, Jim.
We need Ryan Wilder in the comics. Great.
Actually, I'm drawing a piece of art that for FanDome that has almost every character represented on it, and Batwoman will be there, and it'll be your version. With,
that's
I
so
don't
cool.
share too much, but it's there. You'll see her amongst all the other characters that are being represented.
That's so cool.
It's super exciting to be part of it.
I feel like you might already know what her suit looks like, Jim.
Yes, looks great.
You do?
She doesn't even know?
Here, let me share my screen. Hold on.
All right, Jim. Okay, you've been doing this for a few years, right?
Yes.
Right? For a few years.
Yeah.
You've been
The joke is he's been doing it for 30.
How many times do you think you've drawn Batman?
I've been at DC since 1998.
Wow.
I figure I've drawn, like, what is that, 22 years? So at least 22 times, but I think no more than 10,000. So somewhere.
Quick question. Should I draw Hawkman's
So
nipples?
what is it about
Hawkman's
Batman to
nipples,
you
yes or no?
that
Yes or no?
makes,
Yes or
his
no?
legacy such,
Come on.
like a
Come on.
lasting one?
At the core of it, he's
Looked
the
it up.
ultimate
I looked it up.
underdog,
I said,
right?
don't look
He's
it
in
up.
a world with all these crazy characters with amazing powers, and
Will it
all
take
he
you out
has
of
is
it?
His wealth and his smarts and his ambition and sort of
Okay, getting a little
obsessive need for justice.
segmented
So I think we can all relate
hawk
to him because
glove
he's very
here.
human in that respect. And I think he also.
What's this gonna look like?
Really has something for
okay.
everyone. He's like the greatest detective. He's also this crime fighter. He's also, obsessively driven to fight for justice. So I think there's all these multiple layers.
Everybody
Same
saying
back
sure?
with the
Okay,
games,
great.
we
Here we
brought
go.
in different Robins, and all the different Robins have different personalities and different sort
There,
of,
I drew him.
stories that drive
And his
them,
belly button.
their
It looks real.
motivations to become
This looks so real.
partners or sidekicks. I think it really kind of they act as wonderful foils to one another and kind of fleshes out the whole universe. I think part of the hoopla of Batman is sort of seeing all the different interpretations and versions of the characters over the years. In our heads, we can all imagine a Batman, but it's really interesting to see how different he looks, whether he's in a Lego movie, or a video game,
That's right, Jim.
or a live-action movies.
What's also dope about growing up with Batman is actually growing up with Robin, and how Robin has sort of grown into his own person, becoming Nightwing. Talk about that growth.
The introduction of Robin really kind of changed the tone of the character, from a brooding loner. Now he has this responsibility to a young wolf.
All the chest
that he's
hairs.
mentoring.
It's taking
It makes
forever.
him more human and is a path to redemption for himself, right? To find his humanity. Because
And I'm putting some hair on his shoulders.
a
Sorry.
brooding loner and so focused
Gonna have a
on
hairy shoulder.
justice and vengeance. It in some ways, Batman is the character and Bruce
Okay.
Wayne is the alias. And
Yes.
having
Everything Jim is saying is correct.
Robin, from Dick Grayson to Jason Todd to Tim Drake, etc., brings out the humanity in the character, and I think it was kind of an important turning point in the character.
Okay, all I got left. I'm drawing the nipples. I'm drawing them. All I got left is the wings on Hawkman. Okay. I gotta sneeze. Hang on. I'm allergic to nipples. Okay.
This hugely popular character on his own. Talk about Nightwing. Talk about the fandom's Nightwing and how he's become such a huge hit on his own.
Yeah.
I
think
love Nightwing.
Is a really interesting.
My favorite character who's been Robin, but not my favorite Robin. My favorite Robin's Tim Drake. Who's your favorite Robin? Tell us in the chat. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, Carrie Kelly. Who's your favorite Robin? Damian Wayne.
world's greatest detective, crime fighter. So he has all those skills, but he was more acrobatic, and his fighting sense, style was different, and his temperament and his personality were different. In many ways, he took the trauma of losing his parents in a different direction.
Drawing his wings is fun.
He ended up being more well-adjusted, although in Titans he's still kind of angry. But
yeah, I would say so. He's pretty angry.
Ultimately, he's the one that was able to kind of deal with it in a way that allowed him to progress beyond where Batman sort of emotionally kind of stopped, I think. And so when he left and became Nightwing, his own superhero in his own right, founded Titans, I think it was...
Jim's got it. This is comic book history 101, y'all.
An evolution of the journey that Batman started, but can't finish on his own. And it was really interesting. There was a storyline where Batman's missing,
Walter,
dead, and
Batman, Great Family Tree,
Dick Grayson,
Damian Wayne, Tim is the best, Jason Todd.
Physically, he looked like Batman.
Which one was in the nice? George Clooney and Val?
It was kind of cool because
Chris O'Donnell, Dick Grayson.
That, the
here we go. Whoever wanted me to draw Hawkman.
That really kind of
there's your Hawkman.
Who this character is, and it was kind of a
sort of the armored New 52 Hawkman from
adjusted. What would he be like? And
from this era.
So you would say that in many ways,
there you go.
Batman got passed on to a new generation.
Pretty cool. Pretty
absolutely.
cool.
I think the Dick Grayson was the
see
beginning of
see the nipples.
I think one of the things that really distinguishes DC from other.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Comic book universes.
Tim Drake all day. Me too. Tim Drake.
Aspect that there are multiple.
Well, Dick Grayson is also Batman's #1 success. His success is Dick Grayson, is Tim Drake.
See that throughout.
Robins are the proof that he's a good man and he raised a good kid, good father. Red Robin's cool.
Led to this extended Batman family that you see. So we're super excited to announce
Draw the Flash
that
or
we have
Shazam.
acclaimed writer John Ridley coming on board in January 21. John will be working with artist
wait for this book.
Who's fantastic.
John Ridley. Tell us about it.
We're going to be doing a mini-series where they introduce a new Batman.
Pay attention, y'all.
What?
What?
It's going to be different from the one that we all kind of know and love.
I did not expect this.
This series will really kind of plant the seeds for a lot of amazing big changes and future directional changes for the DC universe.
A big part of my life has been around Batman, has been around people who choose to do better. And even if some of that is just wish fulfillment, it is part of what we want our young people, kids to believe in, that everybody can be part of the process. And for a long time, as was said, for those of us who are outside of the prevailing culture, it didn't matter the race of Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman. We just identified with the idea of trying to be the fabric of an environment that was better.
I think they're going to introduce a black Batman.
I think there is a lot of speculation online. I don't.
That's my
I'm
speculation.
Not on social media. I'm not online a lot, but I think it's a pretty safe bet that if I'm writing Batman, it's probably a little better than a 47% chance he's going to be a person of color. That's what I would say. What's very exciting for me is
that's so cool.
I'm going to have the opportunity to delve into the Fox family. So you have Lucius Fox, this character who has been, other than Alfred, probably the person who's been at Batman's side maybe the longest.
Yeah.
But he has a family, and this is a family that has secrets, has kept
secrets
Luke. From one another.
Could be Luke.
It's a little bit different dynamic than the Batman that we've always seen. And yes, there's always going to be the emotional velocity of the storytelling. There's always going to be these areas for just amazing action and great visuals. So all of those things that the fans love
DC
are going
representation.
to be the same.
Anthony Dominguez, that's
one
what's
of
up.
the things that I think is really great, and one of the things I really appreciate about, Jim, what you're allowing me to do is to really excavate things from a very particular emotional point of view. And just for me as a writer and where I've come from in film and television, that is paramount. Giving a sense of real jeopardy as much as possible. And even these changes, I think, are great because, after 81 years, I don't mean this in a bad way, it's the same with any character, you do build up this sense of false jeopardy.
Right.
So for me, at this point, everything that happens on every page, it feels a little bit more real. And that, to me, is really
more
exciting.
urgent.
That's great. Please go to your local comic book store and add that to your pull list. Please support your local comic book store. So everyone loves Batman. He has millions of fans. He has inspired one of the most badass entourages since the OK Corral. And yet there is one amongst us, I see him smiling already, working on a game where Batman is actually dead. What?
Yes. Guilty. How come?
Yes, barrels of beer, pretty much. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
This is what that's about. It's
and also give me other DC characters that you want me to draw. Should I do Shazam? Should I draw Shazam?
So we
I'll draw
take
Shazam.
Gotham City, you know, where Bruce Wayne has been operating as Batman for like 15 years, with all that history, with his whole network of allies, and then take him out of the picture. It really demands
killing
players
Batman.
Figure out how would I step up, and how would I protect Gotham City.
Okay, so what makes your characters unique? Like, how is your Nightwing
Here we go.
different from, say,
Shazam.
Brendan's portrayal of Nightwing?
Well, I mean, frankly, our Nightwing is less of a potty mouth.
I think Nightwing is not that. I think it was Robin that was the potty mouth.
That's
right. That's right.
Nightwing has a clean mouth.
Robin
That's
is
really
also
funny.
not that much potty mouth.
That's really
So,
funny.
Okay, so Nightwing, let's start with him. So he's still very much the kind of fast-talking, swashbuckling fighter from his youth, but he's also now really evolved into kind of a natural leader, and he's able to bring out the best in his allies.
Here we
Which
go.
matters a lot for us because we're a co-op game, so that actually is a thing. Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, and you know she's now a veteran crime fighter, and she has built her crime fighting career out of surviving adversity, out of taking the things that she learned about when she was Oracle, out of dealing with the death of her father, Jim Gordon, in our continuity, and
What?
becoming
Jim
her
Gordon's
own
dead?
worst nightmare with all of that.
That
Jason
sucks.
Todd is the and of course he died and was resurrected.
Yeah.
And since
Yeah.
that's happened, he's taken.
Are you guys
a lot
excited
of
about this
violence
game? Are you guys
and
gonna
rage
be
that
playing this
he's
game? I
had to
imagine
find his life
everybody here is gonna be playing
and
it.
found some surprising, enlightened ways of channeling.
But wow, Bruce Wayne and Jim
And
Gordon
last but
dead.
not least is Tim Drake, who is
Sad.
the
That's
newest
sad.
Robin. He's only had an opportunity to work with Batman for a couple of years before Batman's death.
Yeah.
But
Tim Drake
he's
always
really a
gets the
prodigious talent. He's a natural
short end of the
detective,
stick.
and he's got a knack for messing with his enemies' heads. And so these guys really represent the new guard of Gotham City.
That's so exciting. I mean, I'm a gamer, so I'm like, I can listen to you all day talk about this game, so I cannot wait. But I won't do that to everybody else. Okay, so just in case anybody missed Patrick's announcement this morning, let's take a quick look at what's coming out of WB Games Montreal next year.
This morning. It was a couple weekends ago. Oh, Batman's dead.
We both know it won't take long for Gotham's
Is that
criminals to
Jason
realize
Todd?
that Batman is
Those
gone.
graphics are sick, dude. Those are out of control.
Gotham
Wow.
will need its protectors more than ever.
It's fun. It's really
Okay,
fun.
so
Nicely
before we
done.
wrap up, we have a few fan questions brought to you by one of Gotham City's good neighbors, Jake from State Farm.
That's right,
We
Jake
all
from
know
State Farm.
Take it away, Jake.
Jim Lee, hello, hello. Wow, I'm a huge fan, and I love your work. I mean, obviously. My favorite Jim Lee Batman is from the Hush storyline because he just looks so cool, just so amazing. But I digress. Okay, let's get to it.
I like you, Jake from State Farm.
James from the U.S. asks, when you first started drawing Batman, what
Great
or
question.
who were your
Great question.
inspirations for your design for that character?
For those of you that collect comics, you know, I think one of my main influences is an artist named Neil Adams.
Yep.
He just brought this
Phenomenal.
sense
Can't wait
of
for this game. Looks
reality.
sick. Yep. The Clutch
Fancy
Kid.
word, very similar
Labriola.
to his art. I just looked like it was real, like you go out and touch it. This is before there were movies and TV shows, so this is as good as it got for us. Another artist
Neil
later,
Adams Batman.
Frank Miller, who
He's
you know,
just-
I was in
he's
college,
just naming the
and
goats.
Dark Knight Returns came out, and that was real. That changed my life. I mean, that was the story that kind of inspired me to pursue a career in comics. So when I drew my own story in Hush, I actually started out drawing Batman
Very
thick
big.
and blocky,
Thick
kinda
and
like
blocky.
how Frank draws it.
Yep.
Kind of homage to Dick Sprang, which was an artist from yesteryear. But then as I drew more and more of the character over the course of the year and a half I worked on that project, by the end it was kind of leaner and looked more like a Neil
Yep.
Adams physique. Those were my two influences.
Cool. Okay. In a recent issue of Batman Beyond, it's revealed that Damian Wayne turns his back on Bruce Wayne's philosophy and rejoins his mother and claims his birthright as the demon of the League of Assassins.
Oh, I don't like that.
There's no wonder why there's
Damian.
some questions about Damian. Miriam from Brazil thinks that Damian Wayne has an anti-hero personality, but
yeah, he does.
Since Robin is such a heroic symbol, Miriam wants to know what we can expect from Damian in his late teens. Should we accept that his future is the same as that shown in Batman Beyond?
Yeah, look, I think, you know, these stories go on and on. We're in 81 years of Batman history, so I would say never say never. These characters continue to evolve and change, and go, you know, with the times especially. Obviously, Damian's working through issues as many teens are wont to do, and if your you know, if your father is Batman and your mother is Talia, and you're kind of split between the worlds of justice and a League of Assassins, it's a pretty crazy predicament to be in. So I think he's got a lot on his shoulders, and that's what you're seeing kind of manifesting through his behavior. That said, in terms of what his future holds, I would say, look, when I got into this business, I just assumed that all these characters, that the writers, the creators knew what their futures would be.
Nope, the answer is no.
Who would they be in 10 years, 20 years, whatever. And I found out that really they just knew kind of like 2 or 3 months ahead what they were going to do with the characters, and the rest they made up. And so I think the challenge is, like, you could, when you get older, I presume you're a younger person, you can enter this world, you can become a creative, you can become a writer, and you can write the next chapter of Damian's life. And I think that's the exciting part of this. These are, as real as they feel to
great
us,
answer.
they are fictional characters, and they need passionate fans to kind of guide them and create these wonderful stories and timelines for them. So I think that, you know, if you have a very strong particular view of what you want Damian to be, I would encourage you to think about becoming a writer.
I love that. Alan Scott, Green Lantern drawing, please.
It's pretty awesome to see people from all over the world brought together to celebrate Batman.
Yeah, so we celebrate Batman every year. We're celebrating his 81st anniversary this year. September 19th is the day. If you want more information, go to
Batman Day.
batman.com.
Guys, here's my work in progress Shazam. Boom. Work in progress. Work in progress. Work in progress.
Kids and adults can go. And
this is exciting. I haven't drawn Shazam that much.
And then also there's these riddles or crimes that Riddler has committed, and you can go online and help sort of solve these cases. Again, go to batmanday.com to find out more information.
Clearly, we're all big Batman fans here, right? We're all big Batman fans here. That's why we're here. I'm a fan too. This is one of my many statues that I have here.
Arkham Knight statue, Arkham Asylum.
So I have a fan question for all of you. What would you say is your first memory of Batman?
Obviously,
great question.
Eartha Kitt was a huge influence because she was the first Catwoman. And to see that role and to see her really be her, because that's her personality in general, it really brought like this sexiness to something that was, to me, originally when I was a kid, I felt like was a boy's world. Then The Dark Knight came out, and that's when I was insanely
how young is this person?
To the world of my craft, of my art, and to see Heath Ledger and all these iconic actors play these iconic characters is when I became obsessed.
I gotta say, I'm with Javicia. As a kid, I knew of the world and was a fan of Batman, but it was really the Batman Begins, Nolan's Batman, that really,
wow,
as an actor, threw me into the world.
I bet.
I think that was the first time I saw a superhero movie where I was just expecting it to be a superhero movie. And it was about a character, and it was that, you know, Batman Begins, just how did this boy become this vigilante?
I watched the Adam West TV show as a kid. I remember spending hours playing with the Batmobile and shooting little pellets out of the mortar in the back, and that's kind of my history of the character.
Yeah.
There was a world's finest two-parter from years ago. It was Batman and Superman, who were captured and put into a Soviet gulag in like Siberia. Everything about it was so painful and torturous.
John, great answer. Batman the Animated Series is my answer too.
But at the same time, it's
my
about
answer
people
too.
being heroic, and the odds are completely against you.
Patrick Redding.
I think for me, what hit me the hardest was Batman Year One. That
wow.
struck me the most and made me really fall in love with that character in that world.
That's a fantastic answer.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all.
What a great panel. Oh, I'm almost done.
This is a dream come true. I'm surrounded by Batman statues. Like behind this thing, there's just statues upon statues. So it's so exciting to have all of you here and being able to spend this time with you. So thank you for that. Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. And we hope you are enjoying DC FanDome.
I am. Okay, we did it. All right. I think all I have left to do is a little bit of electricity effects, but I don't know if I'm going to... Hang on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to do it, but here's what I did. I drew Shazam with the new 52 costume, but I did this old style pose. I think it was... CC Beck was the artist, I want to say. I might be wrong, but this classic Shazam pose where he's throwing a car into a building, but with the new 52 design. So there we go. Now we have Hawkman. We got Shazam. I'm trying not to just copy the image itself on the page. I'm trying to put Shazam in a different pose because he was kind of standing sort of still. I was like, all right, I'm going to put him in this pose instead, right there. So that's it right there. Nice. Thank you guys so much. Hi. All right, y'all. We've got 2 more panels to get through, so let's go ahead and jump into the... My mic is echoing. I just think I'm in the garage. Thank you so much. It's too good. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's jump into our next panel. The next one we're watching. If you're a Batman fan, I hope that was fantastic. And it was really cool to be able to see everybody's perspective from all the different industries that they're working in, like video games, television, comic books. It was so cool. But now we're going to go to Superman, an enduring symbol of hope. Let me set this up. It is good right there. And if you're a Superman fan, hopefully, like me, you're going to really enjoy this panel. So here we go. Let's do it. It has begun. Superman, an enduring symbol of hope.
Hello, my name is Brian Michael Bendis. I'm the writer of
Bendis.
Superman, Action Comics,
Bendis.
and Legion of Superheroes. And here I am today with 2 of my favorite Superman.
Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be a good panel.
One of which is a genuine comic legend
Yep.
and the custodian of Superman for decades.
Come on.
Mr. Dan Jurgens.
Right there.
And also with us, one of my favorite graphic novelists, the author of Dragon Hoops and many of my other favorite graphic novels. But for this conversation, the creator of the Chinese-born Superman, Kenan Kong, and the recent released Superman Smashes the
Come on. Come on. I didn't know I was going to get this.
Thank you for
This is fantastic. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Superman.
Wow.
We all feel it.
This is one of the best Superman stories ever of all time.
So can you talk a little bit about how you feel in this world we're living in right now and how Superman is
relating, going to the core number 2. Dan.
I'm often asked if we've kind of passed the time for Superman because some people look at him as the big blue Boy Scout or whatever. And have we moved beyond that?
No.
And I think it's just the opposite, where we have to move more into that realm. That if Superman stands for truth and justice, if we move beyond that, that says more about us than it does Superman. And that's where I say we have to move back to those standards.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
The other question I had for you specifically, and I've just entered the realm of having been a writer for so long that you can reflect back on work you did in another time and go, wow, that was a whole different universe. The whole world was different when I was writing that character. Can you do that now? Can you reflect back on the Superman you were writing for different times?
Oh yeah, I bet. Come on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, part of it is I can go back to time where it was several presidents ago, for example, when we would have done this. And even when we did the Death of Superman story, we had Bill Clinton, who was just elected president at that time, show up at the funeral. So I think that it really shows how much the world has changed and how we have changed societally. So yeah, I think you can look back on it and then you say, well, what would my work have been like if things had been then as they are now? So there's an eternal list of questions we can kind of play with there, but it is true that Superman remains the constant, and I think that's just awesome.
And Gene, same for you. And
he had Bill Clinton show up to Superman's funeral.
Immediate connection because we made some similar choices But even from the time you were writing Superman to the time I'm writing Superman, the world has shifted dramatically, and we're getting different truths from it. But you have come at the character in one of the most unique ways a few times.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. It really is an honor to be on this panel with the two of you. And as Dan said, I think Superman is always relevant because he represents hope, and hope is always relevant.
Yes.
And I think, unfortunately, I think we need hope more than ever right now. It kind of feels like the world is cracking almost, you know, and the only thing that's gonna hold it together is
us.
My most recent Superman project is Superman Smashes the Klan, which is an
it's
adaptation
so
of one of the most famous
freaking
storylines from
good.
the Superman mythos.
Go
Back
get
in
this comic.
1946, he fought
Go read this comic.
A group of hooded racists on his radio show, you know. And when I was working on this adaptation, I actually thought about this a lot. I thought, are those themes still relevant?
Right.
Are those themes way back from 1946 still relevant to today? And I think, unfortunately, they are more relevant than ever.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, we really need
white supremacy is still a thing, so we still need to fight it.
Yeah, it certainly felt like you had a thesis to even approach the project, and you were so right. It's almost sad. Like,
it is sad.
Like, wow, it reads as if it would happen today, and it couldn't be in a world more different than the world we're living in right now.
The emblem is a little different. It's
So let me
more
ask
Golden
you,
Age Superman.
What's the first
Golden Age
story
Superman.
you remember reading that like got under your skin, that really resonated with you? Do you remember?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you.
There would actually be a couple of them. One was from Superman, I think 149, something like that, that was reprinted in a 25-cent giant, which was the death of Superman. And it had
Wait, what?
Sort of like a glass pop. And what was so memorable about it was aliens that came by and were standing there talking and thinking about how he could have ruled the universe, but he chose to serve others, which I thought as a kid, when I read it, well, that's really awesome that they had that perspective. And when we get inside their head, that's how we learn. The other one is a great Elliot Magan story called Must There Be a Superman? And it deals with the concept
I read that
what
one?
does Superman's leadership mean?
I don't
Because
think
part
so.
of it is he lets man make his own decisions.
Yeah.
And he serves as an inspirational character by doing that. So he's sort of the guiding light without controlling things. And I think that starts to really define who Superman is.
But does he not do enough? If you watch the Watchmen show, HBO's Watchmen, he was a hero, but he could have done a lot
Very
more.
important author to me too. He was the first like prose novel I ever read with superheroes in it. Like
Wow.
like just that idea takes the superhero.
Boy, I'd like to peruse each of these guys' libraries, you know?
Right. You know, a novel is more internal, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the first time I got into the skin of a superhero, just because I was reading it in a different way. Gene?
Well, I remember being in college and Dan killed Superman. No, but to be honest, that whole sequence of him dying and him...
It's such a great story
and the
still.
reign of the Superman and then him coming back. I think more than anything, especially with the way the world reacted to it, it just showed how important this character is, right?
Yeah.
He's not just like... he almost extends beyond fiction. Like we treated his death as if it were a real death.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. I remember people walking around with black armbands with the Superman insignia on it.
Yeah.
But before that, like in terms of the first Superman story, I was thinking about this. I don't think I can remember. I feel like Superman's just always been there. And maybe the starkest like Superman related thing wasn't even a story. It was actually an experience from when I was a kid. I remember, I think it must have been around the time that the Christopher Reeve movie came out. There was an exhibition, I want to say it was in San Francisco, and it was a bunch of like old Superman original art and like,
that's
Superman
so cool.
lunchboxes and toys. I remember passing by it with my parents and my little brother.
Did they have an Action Comics
we
number
peeked
one?
inside, and it looked interesting, but you had to buy a ticket to get in, right? So we stood in front, and we were talking, like my parents were talking to me in Chinese, which I found really embarrassing when I was a kid, but they're talking to me in Chinese. And then the guy at the ticket counter like saw us and was like, come here. And he handed us 4 tickets.
Oh, no way.
It just felt like, I mean, it just felt really Superman to me, right? Like this guy sees an immigrant family and then hands them tickets.
That could make me cry. That could choke me up. That's beautiful.
Of an American icon.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think about when we were asked this question, I was like,
look at that king-size Kirby.
Superman has been part of my life at like very important moments in my life, and I know a lot of people have this, but not only as
does anybody in the chat remember the first Superman story they read?
As a creative person, like Superman.
I don't know if I could.
When I was a kid, it was the first real superhero movie treated seriously by serious filmmakers, and that rattled me, right? And then
Superman the movie's still so good. It's still so good.
College in comics, particularly DC Comics, we're having a genuine renaissance.
People think it's too corny. It's a cynical 70s world, but Superman isn't cynical. That's the brilliance of that film.
You know, whatever.
Too many years ago, I know.
Which I'm like, oh
There's
my
that.
God, Superman's making me cry. So I went from maybe reading very silly Superman stories when I was very young, to then experiencing the movie, to then experiencing as an artistic statement, and then very, very clear memories of the terrible day I had at work, working at the comic book store that I worked at the day Superman died.
Yeah.
And the line was out the door. I remember showing up to work. It's a comic store, and there's a line like we're giving out free sandwiches. There was a line. It was in the old arcade in downtown Cleveland. It was a very large mall-like situation.
Cleveland, Ohio.
We had
Ohio, the birthplace of Superman.
I remember thinking, as a frustrated comic book creator who couldn't even like get my stuff printed, I'm like, I quit. I'm out of here. My mom actually called me at work and said, "Is he really dead?" And I was like, "Ah!" And I hung up. I was like,
That's great.
One of those calls.
That is so great.
I was in one of those lines.
No, he lived. No, he lived. Yeah.
So let me ask you, Dion, what was going in your head when you wrote The Death of Superman? Because it is still a seminal storyline.
It still holds up.
It
still holds up. It's very 90s. The Death of Superman and the Return of Superman and the Reign of the Superman.
A group of us were working as writers on Superman,
but it mostly holds up.
And we had a great group. And really, what we wanted to do.
And who were the other writers? Do you remember?
The other writers were Louise Simonson, Jerry Ordway, and Roger Stern.
Louise Simonson, so good. She wrote the issue in that made me cry.
We were a tight group.
About Martha Kent dealing with that.
Superman's importance by removing him from the books. And I think Gene touched on this a little bit.
You're getting chills. Maybe my garage is just too cold.
Once Superman died, we started seeing columns showing up in the New York Times and so many other places that said, well, what does it mean that Superman is gone and they've...
Guys, that's not the New York Times. That's the Daily Planet.
What it really meant is not only were our characters in the comics dealing with Superman's importance and what he meant to them by him being gone, but we had that happening in real life at the same time. So we had this weird parallel track of fiction and reality that sort of came together for a while. And it was really neat. And the most important part of it was, though, that just as when we go to a memorial or a wake or something like that, we talk about how important the departed might be to us.
Yeah.
That is the exercise that our characters went through.
That's the best thing about Death of Superman. That's the best thing about that storyline.
The importance of Superman. And it was a fun thing to be a part of.
And I think the lesson for other
Traz, do you still have one? That's so cool. Traz 316, real life newspapers also printed Superman's Dead. I have one.
But it's really about what comes next.
Brad Hammock says first I remember reading first I remember reading was the 1988 Millennium event. Wow.
Working at the comic store, you would look at it and go, well, I didn't see that coming. Like I didn't like there was all their Supermans and they all had a different. All of it was fascinating and unique. And
keep going.
And could not have happened unless you told the story the way you told it. So
well, thank you. And yeah, it was a fun thing to be a part of. And I do think whenever we write a character, I'm sure you two feel the same way, that it's our job to leave him in a better spot than where we found him.
Yeah,
and add to
that's a great philosophy for a writer. Leave him in a better place than where you found him.
100%. And so on the same way, Gene, you did a whole run where you took away his powers, right? And that was one of your bigger moves. And in a way, it's kind of the same thing. But I was curious.
What's your most anticipated DC movies? I probably right now. the Suicide Squad. I'm stoked about. I think it looks so bonkers.
That was right when I started working at
But
DC
tell me
Comics,
what you guys
I was on
are
a
most
team
looking forward to.
It was maybe 5 years ago, so
2015,
15,
15, 14.
So I was on the main Superman title. Pete Tomasi was doing Superman, Wonder Woman, and then Greg Pak and Aaron Kuder were on Action Comics.
Wow.
And then together we came up with this depowered
Very cool.
where we basically backed up his superpowers all the way to his original set, you know?
Where he could just
and
jump.
I gotta tell you,
That's
I was
great.
really nervous about it. That was like the very first time I was working on Superman, and I had always wanted to work on like the classic, what I thought of as the classic Superman.
Did your dad, Nyan or Machadran, did your dad read The Return of Superman? Know that he
so I felt
came
really
back,
nervous about it.
that Superman
And
came
Greg,
back.
who is a really good friend and
Love
a
Greg.
writer, he's like, you can take all this other stuff away. You can take away the cape. You can take away the spit curl. There is
Zach
a core
Sebo,
to
that's really
Superman
funny.
that will always stay there, right?
Yeah.
And the way he kind of talked me through it was, what we're gonna do is we're gonna strip away all this other stuff,
It's
so
still
we can
Superman,
show off
the core.
That core. So I
love
had
that.
in mind. I felt like Greg did it a lot better in action than I did in Superman, but that was the idea. There's a core of Superman that will never change.
And what I think what you've accomplished in Superman is equal to what Chris Claremont did on the X-Men, but because you're a more chill human, people aren't aware of it. So I like once I wrapped my head around what you've accomplished, I've been screaming it since I walked in the door. But it is a tremendous accomplishment with the character. Is there anything that you felt you didn't get to do, or
Trunks or no trunks? I go trunks. I go trunks every time.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because when you're a writer, the brain keeps cooking. And
just from a design standpoint, I love the way that it breaks up the blue. From a design, from the
pop up in your head
color design standpoint. I love it.
Superman.
There is a Young Justice panel. There's a bunch of panels. There's 2 panels I hosted. I'm going to tell you guys about them here in a second.
That I think become relevant to Superman, and I think in so many different topics we see that right now.
This entire panel's for comics only. It might be, but they're talking about Superman overall.
Which is not at all what Superman is about, for example. So I think there are always things
He's
out
an
there
immigrant refugee, Superman,
that are
and a reporter. He fights an evil billionaire.
They are key to who he could be and key points of whatever story he might involve himself with.
Yeah, and it's funny because we're all on Twitter and we see every once in a while someone gets riled up about truth, justice, and the American way. And you know, I pointed out when I first joined the book, I was beyond excited that what was maybe cliche during some of your run, that truth and justice, the American way, was just the kind of like the tag on the poster. They're actually ideals that are under siege in our world.
Yeah.
That you can't take for granted. You actually have to fight for them. You have to actually they're worth.
You have to fight for truth and justice. You do.
I was just so honored that I got to express that idea in a way that's.
I haven't read all of it, but the stuff that I've read of Bendis' Superman, I love Bendis' Superman.
Truth and someone's justice and weaponizing it against them is unique to our world, and to have
Ninja Snipez says part 2 is just comics and just Q&A, kind of. And also, Batman is awesome, Superman sucks. You got to read more DC Comics, man.
To spend 2 hours a day with Superman.
Yeah.
Particularly in
I love it.
times.
Actually, Wonder Woman is better than both of them. That I will give you. That I will give you.
Through all of this.
Well, that's why I have a question for you, if I may.
Oh.
Okay,
Question for
when
Brian Michael
you're a writer
Bendis.
and you first start writing a character, you have one notion of them, and then you spend a couple of years with that character. And what I'm intrigued by would be the question of, how has your perception of Superman changed, if it has? And how has a couple of years of writing Superman changed you?
Well,
Great question.
That's an outstanding question, of which I feel you know the answer to.
Dan knows.
But I will
That's
say
great.
I'm still in the middle of that, but I'm aware of the question now. Like, your questions feel very truthful to me.
I finished the Shazam drawing.
And I'm just wrapping
Just a
my
quick
head
little
around.
sketch.
Like, I wrote
Quick little
something
sketch,
specifically this
Hawkman.
week, that I actually felt that pang of writer embarrassment that I had written something so truthful or honest that I was actually embarrassed I put it out. But I didn't stop myself. I still did it.
No, it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Yeah. But you get that little, don't reject this one. This one meant something. And,
this is a beautiful, real story. If you guys haven't read Superman Smashes the Klan yet, read
I would
it.
have never
Read
done the
it.
father-son stuff. Superman as son
It's amazing.
and as father. Now, I am a father, and it consumes 85% of my day. So
Yeah.
That's all I'm thinking about. So it's insane to me now that I wouldn't be writing about it. But I came into the book wrestling with my personal journey as someone's son, and with the I'm someone's father. You gotta figure out who you are. And then I clearly have been writing Superman, dealing with all of that. Because he's Superman, he's got all the powers, blah, blah, blah. That does not change his relationship to his adopted family. That does not change his relationship to his, what you brought up, a very complicated relationship to his birth family. And he's a father.
Jor-El
and
and
he's
Lara.
a father of which I decided was kind of a special needs situation. They're not normal people. They don't have a normal situation. How they're raising John is unique only to John. It would not apply to anyone else. So knowing that, I've just been writing a lot of truthful stuff about being an adult in this world and how much you actually control and how much you can really try to, but you really don't.
That's
and
relatable.
I'm writing about that.
Kind of a bummer.
And having Superman deal with that. Like, I'm Superman and there's so much I can control.
Yeah.
Is a relief to some readers and very frustrating to some readers.
Yeah. I'm
But
Superman
I find
and
it
there's
to
only
be the most truthful thing
so much I can
write.
control. Yeah, it's true.
Like Superman struggling with his day. It seems very honest to me. And
Yep.
also
I love
just
this.
The burden of Superman is a lot. You can't not be Superman. You have to always be Superman. It's a burden. He has to live
You
up
can't
to
just
it.
turn it
So
off.
I find, I'm sure we have all as adults with responsibilities feel that in our everyday. Like I can't just flip out and start screaming on the front lawn because of this pandemic. I have to keep it together. I'm someone's father. So I find myself writing a lot about that subconsciously and then reading it back and going, oh, look at me and my issues with my parents.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great answer.
Ask me again in a few years, but I'm aware of it and I'm grateful for it.
Great.
Yeah. So and
He's got a little Superman in the top left going around the Daily Planet. Look at that.
Parent relationships in my work, but you handed me something. I don't think I would have.
That's awesome. Because of Dan Jurgens, doing this work.
Believe it or not, that was 20 minutes.
Guys.
You gotta go. So I will tell you, I love the work of these.
This is Superman, an enduring symbol of hope panel that I'm watching and reacting to. And if you have any questions, let me know in the chat.
Google Live conversation with Paul Dini and Marv Wolfman that
Wow.
I just came across from a couple
The
years
Wolfman.
ago, in which I did too much talking. So I was thrilled to talk with you here today and do less, at least in the beginning part. And so check that out if you want to hear more thoughts from Dan and Marv.
This is fun. Thank you so much.
You and I,
G Money
at the beginning
Stacks.
of this situation, did a lovely conversation for DC Daily about Superman. So there's an extended version of these conversations.
Shout out to DC
available
Daily.
online if you want. I'd like to thank
That you can
everyone
watch
at DC
on DC Universe.
and DC FanDome for putting this.
Guys, are we ready? Are we ready for the last
conversation
panel?
together.
Are we ready for the last panel?
Any final thoughts on Superman before we take off? Dan,
I
Gene?
think we're good. Everybody just keep believing and keep reading.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Superman will be there for you with hope, truth, justice, and the American way. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful. That was awesome. Okay, y'all. Can you guess the next panel and the last panel for our 3-hour, I can't believe it's already been that long, 3-hour live stream on New Rockstars brought to us by Warner Brothers. Thank you guys so much. Hell yeah, we are ready. If somebody can guess what panel I'm going to choose for this last panel, which one we have lined up here, if somebody can guess which panel I'm going to choose, I'm going to shout out your name and say, yep, you guessed it. So go ahead and, it's not Supergirl, it's not that one. Who knows? It's not Young Justice, although that one promises to be very exciting. We've only got time for one more panel. It's not the Kanye West panel. I didn't know he had one on DC FanDome. It's not Suicide Squad, it's not Wonder Woman. I'll give you a hint. It is a panel based around a TV show. It's based around a TV show. So let's see if you guys can guess. It's not The Batman. Let's see. First one to guess it, I'm going to say your name. It's definitely not Black Panther. That's a different company. It's not Titans. It's not Flash. It's not Flash. It's not Titans. It's not, guys, you got to come up with something other than Titans and Flash. Harley Quinn is the one. Chris Lestenfeld gets it. Harley Quinn is the last panel of the day, y'all. We're about to watch the Harley Quinn panel. Here we go. Good guesses all. Good guesses all. Nicely done. All right, let me line this up. Oh, this is going to be hysterical, dude. If you guys haven't watched Harley Quinn seasons 1 and 2, either on DC Universe or now on HBO Max, you got to do it. The following content may not be appropriate for all audiences and contains adult language, sexual situations, and cartoon violence. I should have read that in a German accent. Call back to something I did earlier. Whoops. Guys, this is going to be good because I freaking love this show. It's one of the best DC animated shows of all time. Here we go. Best way to end the day.
This is just my Wednesday. Yeah, it's actually Thursday.
The cartoon version, that's right.
Who you are at your core.
Boom bam 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 boom boom bam 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 boom boom bam 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 bam. These little jams are good. Also, if you weren't aware, they released the soundtracks to Harley Quinn seasons 1 and 2, and I'm hoping we're gonna get a season 3. Come on, Shea Serrano. All right, let's do this. Let's keep this party going.
Told me that they were working on the show, and they're like, "Oh, this is what our take is going to be on it," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's super cool." There's no way they're going to let y'all do any of that stuff.
Yeah, Shay's right.
But thank goodness
it's insane that they did.
I mean, truly. It turned.
Jared, you're right. Jared, you're right.
Really, really good. I'm really excited to talk to all of these
Look at this.
talented people who have
got some
worked.
showrunners.
Let's get things started by introducing the panel.
Here we go.
First up, we have Kaylee Cuoco, an executive producer and also the voice of Harley Quinn. Hello, Kaylee.
Hi.
Lake Bell, the voice
love
of
it.
Poison Ivy. Hello,
Great
Lake.
cast. Great cast.
Hey.
Ron Funches, the voice.
Ron,
Hello,
King
Ron.
Shark.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Alan Tudyk, the voice of Clayface and Joe.
Amazing.
Hello, Alan. Hello.
Alan
Matt
Tudyk.
Oberg, voice of Kite Man.
Put the volume up on the panel a little bit. I can do that.
Supervising producer on the show.
Here we go.
And Justin Halpern and Pat Schumacher.
How's that?
And Dean
How's
Lord,
that?
executive
How's that?
producers on the show.
There we go.
And also the developers. Hello, Dean and
King Shark is amazing. King Shark is
Justin's
amazing.
Beard. Before we do the fan questions, let's do one. This is just for the voice actors on the show. Can you tell me how you got involved with the show?
So this all started for me when I started my production
Volume is
company.
really down, buddy.
Once
Thanks.
saw
I turned it
first
up. There we go.
script,
There we
I
go.
couldn't believe it was so funny. I thought,
Yeah.
oh my God, this could be live action. When I met with the guys, they were kind of telling me how they wanted to do it and their vision for it, and I thought right away, this is going to be so much fun.
This is going to be the start of something huge.
It is.
When I
and
first
it
heard
was.
about the project, I was really jazzed. I mean, I had been aware of Poison Ivy, and
She's such a
in
good
general,
Poison Ivy.
I tend to be
Her
obsessed.
voice is
I'm,
so
like,
great.
Categorically obsessed with that idea of doing voiceover work. I mean, it's the most.
Yeah, she did a movie about it.
Speaking for an actor, and so I've always been, but being drawn to Poison Ivy.
Watch
I
this
just-
series.
I like the
Watch
idea
this
of
series
making
if you haven't
her,
seen it yet.
The tone that these guys had presented.
What the nuts with the can? Oh my God. I wasn't even sure I wanted a backless dress, and now I'm stuck with it.
Yeah.
She can use
Yeah.
all kinds of profanity.
I worked with Patrick and Dean and Justin and Alan on a show previously called Powerless. Which
Powerless,
was a
that's right.
Funny show set in
DC
a DC
show.
universe that didn't have superheroes, and people were like, "We don't like that." So they were like, "We're going to try it again, but with like superheroes this time."
That's so funny.
And then they were like, "We want
This
you
whole
to come
cast
in and be
is
King
top
Shark
notch.
and just be yourself.
Alexander,
and when
the
you
all
get
right.
angry, just
Bring it
let
out.
that anger out."
Here he goes. That feels like that was an inside joke or a callback.
Through like a parent in me class, we both had the same sort of
attitude about like, are we happy to be here or miserable? It was hard to tell. But
a parenting
then he
class?
called me and was like, hey, would you want to do this? I was like, of course. And I recorded an
Kite Man
audition
has become like
and just like,
such a
no,
beloved character from the show.
Do the character from, I did this bit on 30 Rock. He was like, just do that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. And then I did my like jerk voice.
Turns out in post-apocalyptic world,
Turns out
are pretty crucial.
Which is not
pretty
that
crucial.
My real voice. And they were like, okay, great.
Hell yeah.
I think you guys called me and said, hey, we want you to play Clayface.
Yeah.
And it was great, very exciting. You know, a bad actor.
Bravo!
A bad actor.
You are truly the Shakespeare of the sea.
And they said also they were casting for the Joker and asked if I had a Joker voice.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know, I'll try.
Let's come out with a great
I got off
Joker.
the phone and I think I just put it on, I just recorded it in the next 10 minutes.
Hey, does anyone know our damn Wi-Fi password?
And then everybody, we were all in the
Hey!
room, and everybody was like, well, he's both those.
Yeah. That's great.
This is why I cannot record. Why I have to record by myself, because each of these actors are so funny. I just laugh and laugh, like it hurts my face. I have to go in by myself. I can't do it with anybody. It's too funny. You guys are all brilliant.
Let's do some fan questions.
Here we go, fan questions.
Michael, and I'm from Virginia.
Michael from Virginia.
Oh, yeah, said he deserves the best. If it's not Ivy.
Great question, Michael from the USA,
I think that what's
from
interesting
Virginia.
about relationships is that I don't know if there's just one person for each person in the world.
Right.
Controversial, but I would assume that Kite Man has a love for him, and I think that Ivy is one version. But let's be honest, her heart is split.
The truth is, I trust you with my life, but I don't trust you with my heart. So I'm marrying Kite Man.
I think Kite Man's
brutal.
open to whatever arrangement is available. You know?
Yeah.
This is like a polyamorous thing. You know, that's fine. That's fine.
Babe.
That's cool.
That's great.
My name is Ismael Garcia, and I'm from Madrid, Spain. How do you approach reality and absolute
Ismael
things
from
in
Spain.
a show like this? Do you start by saying
Reality.
simply no rules?
So it's just a matter
Great
of
question.
figuring out, like, you know, I'm trying to honor what these records are, and the, you know, the inflection and the acting and everything, and try to capture all of the manic energy. And then we take it one step further. Can we push Harley to be crazier?
Yep. The animation in the show is also
Lacey, also
wonderful.
in the USA. Kaylee, is voicing Harley fun? And if so, what's your favorite part about voicing her?
Like I said,
She
it's
could.
been an
I think this
absolute
whole
blast.
cast could do
I
this
spent,
show live action.
You know, an hour and a half.
I really do
in the
think
booth
that.
Screaming and going absolutely ballistic and being just crazy and trying things that I never thought I would try and cussing and just being outrageous. I don't see what's more fun than that. It's really been thrilling. And like we were saying earlier, I can't believe they let us do this. Like I said the
There's
same
so
thing
many
you
good
did
jokes.
when I first read the script. I'm like, we can't say this.
The main issue with the show so far, as a comic book fan, is that the timeline's a little much.
We keep saying it.
Timeline's a
and
little exaggerated.
people are
The show's like
really into it.
the Justice League's been the Justice League for 30 years, and Queen of Fables was trapped 30 years ago, and I'm like, nobody's aged. They're not 50. Everybody looks great.
Such a fun way, but at the same time being respectful to the core.
It's a blast. It's cool to get to play the Joker who does cussing as the Joker seems like natural.
Yeah, I agree. The Joker would cuss. Batman F's bats.
In addition to just the salty language, there is great like superhero battles and
there's legit good comic book stuff.
Some of the superhero shows I watched, cartoons that I watched as a kid.
Super Friends, yeah.
Just going to put her in the Phantom Zone.
Just put her in the
where she'll rest for all
Phantom
of
Zone.
eternity.
Then send me there too.
All right.
Wow, this is so dramatic.
It's so many things at once. It's a blast.
Jesse from the U.S. asks, how does it make you feel that so many people connect with Harley and Ivy's relationship?
Great question from Jesse.
Because we're
Where are
not
you watching
in the
these
room
videos?
together.
DCFanDome.com.
So we kind of like
It's
fall
free.
in love with each other through this weird virtual
And here's something I need to point out for the show. The creators of this show wrote every single episode before the first episode was released. So they had that planned out, seasons 1 and 2. It was not something that was responding to fans reacting to the show. So that's amazing.
None of us have really ever even done that with each other. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
how it
you're right,
ended up.
Trez. You're right, Trez.
It's all about family.
Super Friends was awesome
My
with a
name
great
is
theme song.
I am
Jessica.
from Woodson, California, and my question is, how did you guys come up with your portrayals of Clayface and King Shark?
King Shark and
For me,
Clayface.
it's just a lot of. I'm lucky that they let me play around a lot and have a lot of fun. They were very much just like, we want you to be yourself. He's a very grounded, very intelligent, very charming young man who bites people's heads off.
People don't let me be who I am.
He's a tech guy.
That's me. I get that.
Yeah.
With Clayface, he gets to become, and that's his
a bunch of stuff got revealed. Joe Mama, which I doubt that's your real. I don't think your real last name is Mama. I really doubt it. But the Superman and Lois panel revealed that he's going to get a new suit in the TV show Superman and Lois on the CW. But after this, you guys are going to have the freedom to go and check all the panels you want and see all of the different announcements and stuff that they're talking about.
Bane is my favorite DC supervillain. What
Awesome.
made you decide to depict Bane in this specific and unique kind of way, and what inspired his design?
Hilarious, but also sympathetic.
Initially, kind of together came up with the idea of we wanted to do sort of a spin on Tom Hardy in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I got a razzie zazzy
Clearly.
for Bang.
It's Bane.
For Bang.
You know it's Bane. I'm here every day, Todd.
I do remember one moment when Shane Glines, who's a brilliant character designer, so talented, we were designing Bane. You remember this? And then he brings us this drawing of Bane, and it was perfect. And I was like, what went into this drawing? And he was like, well, I just feel like Bane is a guy who doesn't work out his legs.
That's hilarious. What a great
USA. And is Harley Quinn coming back
design
for the third
choice.
season?
Oh.
And if so, what's the possibility of including Punchline?
The answer is I hope so.
Oh, reveal it.
I personally don't know about Punchline, whether she should be involved or not. I just literally met the lady.
We want to focus on Harley and Ivy's relationship, and I'm less personally less interested
Thank you,
in if
Aisha.
the Joker
Thank
gets
you.
a new girlfriend that I am of just like, let's explore this relationship that just we've spent 2 seasons building.
Yeah.
I'll help you smack him around a little bit. What? For you, obviously. I mean, I can't let this anonymous.
You'd heard him for me?
Yes.
For me?
Absolutely.
You heard
And
him?
because he claimed I'm f***ing psycho, but mostly for you, babe. But also
Guys,
for
watch the show.
for
It's
us.
uncensored. It's
Matt,
great.
what happens to
It's
Kite
great.
Man in season 3?
Well, a lot. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, that's really up to me. That's kind of my call. I don't know. Maybe, who's this Punchline? Is she cool? Is she sort of, thanks?
Morse code.
Of course.
Who's this
Sailors and
Punchline?
kiters use signal lamps to transmit Morse code without
great.
being detected.
I still sometimes can't get over the fact Ivy has sex with you.
Oh, she does.
What have been your individual favorite tiny moments that we will never see or never get to hear about?
Oh gosh.
Am I back? Am I
just realizing
streaming?
how funny these damn writers are, and how brilliant some of these actors are, and hearing how Alan can go from this King Shark, best character. It's just brilliant. What you do is so brilliant. And Lakey, it's so funny not seeing her and not working with her, but when I see her in person, I feel like I'm like, hey babe. I feel like we've been shooting for years together,
Yeah.
We're dating. We're definitely
We're
dating.
Yeah, there's definitely
What an
something
announcement!
there.
A DC FanDome announcement.
There's
Oh my
something
gosh!
therapeutic about
Who is your favorite character in Harley Quinn? I have to go. I might go.
looking at you.
Dr. Psycho's such a piece of crap. But he's so hilarious. I might go Dr. Psycho.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, I said you.
Who's your favorite? Tell me in the chat. Favorite character in Harley Quinn, the animated series.
Off.
Hell, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the art
Kite
style
Man's
because
great.
I grew up loving Batman the animated series.
Yes.
And have people tell me that
Ron.
much they love this portrayal of King Shark, and people be asking how do you come up with this when it's just literally me being myself, which when my teens and early 20s was not met with much acclaim.
Well, you can kindly go f yourself.
as actors, we're all working towards a catchphrase.
We
that's
back,
really
baby.
the goal. And,
Hell yeah, it's a pretty good
I'm so
catchphrase.
blessed that I have one.
Can you give us a hell yeah just for?
Let's see, is Kite Man here? Hell yeah! That's
great.
been really fun, just to say the same thing over and over again in a stupid voice. That's been great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
I
want a super cut of all the hell yeahs. King Shark, Kite Man, Bane,
Poison Ivy's, and
Harley. Harley's amazing.
Harley's, their relationship, they're coming together and that they just kept accidentally getting together. And the morning after, when they would wake up and realize they'd done it again.
Oh, what? Oh, for the ding of nuts.
For the ding of.
What is wrong? How can I? Oh my God.
The cuss words
Oh my God.
strung together. Those were beautiful.
They-
Those were
yeah,
well done.
they were.
Well done, ladies.
It was art. It was art.
I had never heard those words put together in that order before. It was.
I'm sorry.
I love it that every time I read a script, it's a real rarity to like just laugh all the way through it. And then we get this audio track with this amazing cast to laugh all the way through that. And I know that I speak for not just myself, but a lot of the artists on the crew, designers, storyboard artists, After Effects, that this is the best thing we've ever worked on.
Oh man, I hope they get to come back for season 3. Come on.
Murder you.
I've never had a show where every department inspired every other department as much as
Yeah.
on this show.
Yeah.
And as writers, we write and then we get the performances back, and they were so uniformly brilliant that it was inspiring to the writers.
My favorite scene in the whole show is probably that Legion of Doom boardroom scene.
So this is a place to get creative feedback on ideas.
Exactly. We modeled it after the way they do things at Pixar.
At Pixar. This whole scene is so great.
Wait, here's an everything.
They're just pitching on
Now I want a
ideas,
bagel.
and
I'm
I just
hungry.
thought that was like the distillation of like the writer's room in cartoon form.
The scene in Bane's pit where they're escaping and it's right before they kiss and kind of
When
have
George Lopez
Ivy
gets
and
away.
Harley have this like monologue.
Yeah.
You cannot run from your problems, Harley. Hate weighs you down. Only love sets us free.
Ivy.
No.
It's okay.
Oh no, it's so sad. It's so sad.
Life. Get married, make babies, name them Harley. The girls and boys. Harley. See, it totally works. You know I love you.
Oh,
And I think all
so
those little
sad.
tiny moments, like what Lake was talking about earlier, those are my favorite things.
Those are great.
Perfect. That is all the time we have. Thank
Like
you
this
to
stream,
everyone
like this
for
stream.
watching this. Thank you to everyone on the panel.
Wow.
Thank you to
That was fun.
Justin Beard for reminding us that just because you can doesn't mean you should. Stay safe, everyone.
What a diss. Oh, Justin Halpern's beard. Oh my gosh. Own it now. I think it's also seasons 1 and 2 are on DVD, but there are no current plans for Blu-ray for Harley. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna swap it over. There we go. Now it's just me. Guys, yeah, George Lopez, I got this. It was random and so awesome, and that was actually him doing the voice. That was really fun. Harley Quinn's gonna be great. If you haven't seen it yet, Lisa, or if you have, tell your friends about it. I love that show. It's so funny, and I was very trepidatious about it in the beginning when it was announced. I was like, I don't know, this is gonna be real like edgelord stuff. I don't know if this is gonna work necessarily. The show comes out, and it takes 1 or 2 episodes, and I go, these people love these characters, and they're so funny, and I can't wait to watch the rest of it. So, yeah, if they put it up a Blu-ray release, I would snap it up in an instant. Me too, Alexander the All-Right. I would as well. It's such a fantastic show. Yes, that's a Watchmen reference. You're right. Huge thank you to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this live stream, sponsored by Warner Brothers, you see right there. Thanks to New Rockstars for asking me to do this. Thanks to Erik for being on a honeymoon with Philip so that I could do this. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to say one last thing. Be good to each other. Stay home if you can. Stay safe if you can. If you're on the West Coast, don't breathe air. Everything's on fire right now. But go and explore the rest of DC FanDome on your own. It is, like I said before, an incredibly unique
interactive experience. The first FanDome was this streamed thing. This FanDome is you can go there and click all of the panels that you want for the next 24 hours. So go do that. There's a couple of panels I would recommend you check out. Like I said, Batman Death in the Family. Watch that. It's for the upcoming animated, interactive, first ever interactive. We're talking about interactivity. First ever interactive Warner Brothers animation DC movie based around the death of Jason Todd Robin. It is awesome. I've seen it. I hosted that panel, full disclosure. And the creatives behind it and the voice cast is fantastic. So please go and check that out. It's a great panel. And also check out the DC graphic novel Masterclass, the Artist Edition. When I get to talk to, I also moderated that panel, and I had a chance to witness a discussion between two greats. I'm talking about Isaac Goodhart, who's an up-and-coming, soon-to-be living legend in the comic book industry, and then I'm talking about Klaus Janson, who is a living legend in the comic book industry. And both of these cats talking to each other, they're friends, they know each other, talking about their art and how they got into the industry, and their tips and tricks and their techniques and the things that they struggle with and the thing that they overcome as artists. It's a wonderful panel. Go poke around in more of those artists and comic book artists and writers panels if you can find those there. I would love to moderate your panel, Philip. Hit me up on Twitter. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. I feel like there may be some more happening in other places on the internet today for DC FanDome weekend number 2. And go and enjoy the panels yourself. And have a great rest of your weekend and stay safe and tell your loved ones that you love them. And we'll see you guys later. I'm about to hit stop streaming. Here we go. And bye.